brings you the best players in the nation at the 13U age group. It's the second annual PG 13U Baseball Select Festival from beautiful Oklahoma City, Chickasaw Bricktown Ballpark. We're just glad to be playing baseball this summer. Hi there, folks, and welcome back to the ballpark. The college perspective comes from Perfect Games' Mike Rooney, and 3 decades of scouting comes from David Dronsley, Perfect Games' Vice President of Player Personnel. My name is Darren Sutton. David, you've been coaching and watching and scouting the guy right on the cusp of going into college or pro ball for a long time. This year, you took on the younger athlete. What did you see?
Well, this was the first time I've seen the 13-year-olds. I went to the 13U National down in Florida, and I was thrilled. Jeremy Brown and Ben Ford did a great job of getting the top players there. They were more physically talented than I thought they were going to be, and about half of those players are in the game today, and I'm really looking forward to seeing them play some more.
Mike, you coached at the college level. You're one of the preeminent voices of the college game now. College coaches are watching this game, aren't they?
Yeah, I mean, you're right. These 13-year-olds are right on the cusp of recruiting for college baseball, and I'll reiterate what David said. The athleticism of these kids, the baseball skill level has just been so impressive watching these players.
Eric Parker, one athlete I want you to talk about, and also Sam Cozart, who is 6'6". Crazy. Tell us about him.
Yeah, so Eric Parker's Eric Parker's a two-way projection, tremendous athlete. That electric, loose athleticism really comes out on the mound, mid to upper 80s fastball, and tremendous projection as a right-handed pitcher. Sam Cozart, great baseball family. Older brother Caleb pitches at North Carolina. His brother Jacob is going to catch at NC State. His dad is the head coach at High Point. His mom was a Division I volleyball player. This kid is a really advanced right-handed pitcher.
David, I'm putting you to work with what you saw. Let's start with Arizona's Cam Caminetti.
Well, Cam Caminetti, I knew his cousin, the late and great Ken Caminetti, when I worked in Houston. So to see the Caminetti name again is thrilling to me personally. And Cam is a legit prospect without that name. He's a two-way player. I like him best as a left-hand hitter. It's as pure a left-handed swing as you'll see. He's also up to 82 on the mound with a power curveball, so it's a two-way future potentially for Cam Caminetti.
Jose Perdomo.
Oh, Jose Perdomo. He's a young Venezuelan. He lives in Florida. He's going to IMG Academy this year. His intent, I believe, is to go back through the international draft or the international game. But boy, does he have tools. You look behind us in left field, he put 3 balls out over the fan deck in BP today as a 13-year-old. And that may not even be his best tool. He's a pure shortstop with probably the strongest infield arm in this class.
This is all sorts of fun. Danny Wexelman will introduce you right now to one of these athletes.
We're with Eric Parker, and Eric, we're going to see you on the mound and in the box. What can we expect to see from you today?
On the mound, I'm going to be a fast-paced pitcher. I pitch at my speed. It's going to be a lot of fastballs, a lot of fast-paced pitching. It's going to be a great showing. And the boss, I'm trying to drive the ball up the middle, across the field, everywhere I could be. Strong at bats.
I know that you throw 5 pitches, slider's your favorite. Can you describe your other pitches and what kind of details we'll see from you today on the mound?
All right. So my fastball, it's going to be downhill, going to be coming down on a batter. My two-seam is going to cut in on righty, going to be a sharp turn, and my change is going to drop a lot. Good spin on the ball, and my slider is going to have a long dropping curve to it. And my curveball is going to be nasty. It's going to drop high and coming down to the knees of the batter.
I love those descriptions. Now, the overall weekend, this series is tied 1 game apiece, East and West. Why is the East team going to break that and go all the way today?
Because we're better, baby. East squad all day.
Eric, thank you so much.
No problem.
Hey, don't go anywhere. The 13U PG Select Festival will be right back.
mantra of major leagues play ball, and in the concept of all diamonds being active, Perfect Game has teamed up with Premier Girls Fast Pitch, one of the finest globally at sending players not only to joyful tournaments, but onto college campuses. PGF was founded back in 2009, and now PGF teams up with PG to form PG Softball. The Diamonds have never been more exciting. Here's more on the partnership. The purity of the dirt, the diamond, the dedication, the dreams. Baseball and softball walk hand in hand into the future, and now do so on a platform the likes of which has never been seen. Premier Girls Fast Pitch and Perfect Game have united to form an alliance, PG Softball, and there is only one winner, you. These two organizations have springboarded thousands to college campuses, making history in amateur diamond sports. Baseball world, meet PGF. Softball world, meet Perfect Game. Unforgettable events, indescribable memories. High fly ball center field. Leaping, she took it away! Melted to right field, well struck. Kelnick on the run. Squares it up as he takes a tumble and hauls it in. A tip of the cap. You betcha. The buzzwords, the keywords, scouting to smiles, technology to team, media to mom. The time is now to change the face of the amateur game in two sports with one courageous move. Premier Girls Fast Pitch and Perfect Game introduce PG Softball. The Diamonds have never sparkled so bright. Danny Wexelman, David Ronsley, Mike Rooney, and Darren Sutton. And you. We're certainly glad you've found us and you've joined us here in Oklahoma City for the second annual Perfect Game 13U Baseball Select Festival. Chickasaw Bricktown Ballpark. It really has been a wonderful home all week long to Perfect Game and the finest prep players in the nation. And this, the final day, joyful and kind of sad for all that have been here all week. The great host with the Oklahoma City Dodgers and the folks certainly in Oklahoma City have been fabulous to all these athletes from around North America and Venezuela and Puerto Rico and the Dominican Republic. And as we take a look at the lineups for the West squad is where we'll start. We see Slade, Caldwell, Travis, Friend, the talented Jose Perdomo, Connor, Griffin, Dean, Moss, Massa, Chilcutt, and Mr. Ledford is in that 7 spot. The lineups go on because everyone hits in this game. It's Gamble, Rucker, Traeger. Don't worry, we'll introduce you to them all. Caminiti is from Arizona, Cordero, Boston, Kellner, and out of Southern California, Paul Dominguez Walker. The starting lineups for the West squad. Everyone pitches an inning in this game, and should you complete that inning, you get an opportunity to really show who you are as an athlete. And so right away, that is a big fella out there wearing number 38 on that jersey. As a matter of fact, where do we start with Sam Cozart? David, I'll give you the first word when you talk about the fact that he is one of the biggest players on the field in any event.
In any event. And Samuel Cozart is maybe the most advanced pitcher I've ever heard of at this age. Last year in Jupiter, where soon-to-be or seniors are playing, he pitched as a 7th grader and picked up a victory. He's been up in the upper 80s with a mid-70s curveball. It's just such an advanced package on such a young man. You have trouble really getting your arms around it.
Mike, for you, taking on that challenge of guys 5 years older in an event like Jupiter, the World Wood Bat Association World Championship, having a brother that plays college baseball, a dad that has coached it your entire life, you can throw all that into the mix with the dad touching and the brother, but still, to do what he's done is incredible.
Yeah, Cozart is a kid that this may be the first time he's ever pitched against kids his own age. He's been pitching against the older groups his whole career, and when you talk to coaches that have seen him, they talk about The pitchability is very advanced, and also the fearlessness. He just pounds the strike zone.
Slade Caldwell leads it off. Caldwell, Travis, friend Jose Perdomo. For the West team, Slade Caldwell out of Jonesboro, Arkansas. He plays football, he plays basketball, and certainly is a heck of a baseball player. That's why he is here. He was part of the 13U Select Festival last year, and we're underway. We'll bring a velocity into your home or onto your device, thanks to TrackMan, 84 miles an hour with that first pitch, 84 miles an hour. It's always fun to reset, David, as that pitch hits the inside corner. If I'm looking at a 13U athlete, what are the ranges velocity-wise? Ranges.
The range, a lot of the 13Us that I saw at 13U National were mid-70s. Sometimes you'll see pitches as Caldwell lines that into left field for the first hit of the game. Sometimes you'll see guys reaching the low 80s, but in this game you're seeing the cream of the crop. You'll see some mid-80s fastballs from more than just Samuel Cozart.
Beautiful, beautiful approach. Slade Caldwell, though that breaking ball, and Sam will tell you it was up a little bit, it doesn't matter. He didn't try to pull it, let it travel deep in his stance.
Beautiful baseball. Breaking ball for a strike, hit it the opposite way. Count me in on that.
Out of La Mirada, California, this is Travis Friend. That one sails up under his chin. The young man who's been all-tournament a couple of times this summer. His travel team, the MVP Hustle, and he turned a lot of heads at 13U's National Showcase.
No doubt. This is a quick twitch athlete. He already runs a sub-760, and that twitch in his running speed also is in his hands. He took a great BP this morning, hits a few balls off the wall, and really looked like his swing was in tune and well-timed.
Slightly closed, on balance stance, runner on the move, throw down, sails high, and so a stolen base for Slade Caldwell, who picks up that base hit. Xavier Rivera is the catcher and the battery mate, working behind home plate with Big Sam Cozart. Rivera, the young man who is out of Puerto Rico, a very talented athlete, just had that one get a little bit aggressive on him.
Yeah, going back to Slade Caldwell, I watched him in BP this morning. He pulled every single ball. He's an aggressive athlete, and he pulled literally every single swing during batting practice, and yet on the first time he gets a chance to swing in the game, goes the opposite way.
Popped foul back behind the plate.
So fun, guys, these types of games. I think about the 14U game, the All-American Classic, this 13U game. You really get to see the best hitters against the best arms. Can these hitters handle velocity? You know, can these catchers compete against runners that have dynamic speed? You love the individual matchups.
High fly ball, well struck left field. Boy, he leaned on that one. Going back to make the play is Jax Bishop, shy of the warning track. Beautiful approach runner, tags and moves to third.
Yeah, that looked like the Travis Friend I saw in batting practice. He had a bunch of those and was just on every ball. I'm going to look forward to his next at-bat because he squared that one up.
An underrated part of this, too, guys, is not an easy outfield to play for a 13U player. There is a ton of real estate out there.
Runner at third, Jose Perdomo, who has been the talk of this event. Wide open stance, is fooled by a slow breaking ball. Good, get me over for strike one. The young man who makes his home now in Orlando, but is from Venezuela, has played for multiple travel teams, most recently the Midwest-based Little Caesars travel team out of Detroit.
The Perdomo, gentlemen, is a name to write down. He is a kid we could have snuck in the All-American Classic with the class of 2020s, and you would not have noticed him. He is really advanced.
As he heads into 8th grade. That's belt high, a little bit high at 84 miles an hour from Cozart. South Charlotte Panthers, the travel team for this pitcher from High Point, North Carolina. Dad, the head coach. Craig at High Point. As that one is swung right through, 2-2 the count. Craig and Michelle are parents. And of all that he has in his life, the man on the mound that he's proud of, baseball is a big part of it. But his grandfather, Charlie, served our country 21 years in the United States Navy. That's what he mentions being most proud of.
That's awesome. Great. The Cozarts are an incredible family. Met the mom, Michelle, who's a Division I volleyball player at UCF. She claims that her role in this is to feed these three boys, but clearly she brought some athleticism to the party.
Good fastball, sneaks it right on by him. 84 miles an hour. Perdomo maybe trying to do a little bit too much. But the talented right-hander, I think he changed the at-bat with the first pitch breaking ball. This is the end of it.
Yeah, a couple high fastballs there. Perdomo has been taking big swings the last couple days in batting practice and the home run derby, and it was not a two-strike approach there. He was still looking to take a big swing and drive the ball.
And by the way, the home run challenge was won by this man, Connor Griffin, out of Florence, Mississippi. There's been some good stuff along the way for him this summer, a summer to get out after he missed his season. Top Gun Black or the Yolabusha Giants, his couple of travel teams with whom he wears uniforms. Dave, earlier this year, he was the MV pitcher at the 13U Elite National Championship. Didn't give up a run.
Yeah, the most valuable player of that tournament is still down on third base, Slade Caldwell.
How about that?
Yeah, but Connor Griffin is just a highest level two-way athlete. You know, hit a couple balls out in the home run challenge. He's been up to 85 on the mound. You look at that body; it's long and lean and so projectable.
Boy, that's been successful. A high spin rate fastball up has all those guys thinking about the breaking ball. I think that was the key. Mr. Kozar, quality inning. By the way, you left that man standing at third.
Defense, you can always make a play. Create it in your mind. You're always trying to time when the ball is hitting the bat. Wherever I am, I know where it is. 1, 2, 3, I'm gonna have to start jumping. Nothing more satisfying than making a big play.
Is on the mound, the right-hander. He's a SoCal guy, so you know that I'm a little bit biased growing up in Southern California, loving the California athlete, but he'll play in the outfield, certainly with a ton of talent. And this is a young man with his travel team, MVP Hustle, Pacific Baseball Academy, a couple of good travel teams. He's been active, he's been busy, and both of you guys have gotten good scouting reports. David, I'll let you go first.
Yeah, Kibru Pam is a two-way player. He gets the nod to start the game as a two-way player. That's impressive. He's a three-pitch guy up to 84 miles an hour. You see he's working from the stretch. But, Runes, I think you look forward to seeing him as a hitter coming into this game.
Yeah, the bat speed was really impressive. And, I'll tell you this. I just love his whole getup. He seems to play with great joy and fun. I'll even throw this. I love the way he wears his hat. He just wears his hat a little uniquely, and I'm down for that.
Absolutely. As we peek in from up above, Jacob Kendall digs into the box from Jacksonville, Florida, to start things. This is a middle infielder. He can play in the outfield with his athleticism if you need him there. And the first pitch is high. 1-0 the count to Jacob. 5-star his travel team. And you can see the height and the length there for Jake as he holds that bat away from his body.
Darren, I'm going to throw some numbers at you from Jacob Kendall's 82-game perfect game career, in which he has hit .557 with 12 home runs and 109 RBIs in those 82 games, most for 5-star. And sorry, I did not get the OPS on that.
That's all right.
Yeah, that's not a small sample size right
no,
there.
It isn't.
Love it.
Well, we know the on-base percentage is certainly higher because he's walked at least once, right? So I'm sure that beyond that batting average is probably an on-base of about .650 as he shoots that one back up into the seats. Well, David, so at this age, again, you talked about it coming on the air. You've immersed yourself at this, 13U age group. you rarely see pitcher onlys at this age group, right?
Oh, most definitely. In fact, I saw in the roster I have in front of me, in the roster that's on the PG website, a lot of them had been switched. And we see this in younger groups, the 14-year-olds and the 15-year-olds as well, is they haven't decided yet. The game hasn't decided for them, is probably more accurate. And there's no reason when you're 13 or 14 to think of yourself specializing. Yes, Samuel Cozart, we are not going to see him bat today, but he's a 6'6", 220-pounder whose future is pitching. But I think pretty much for every other pitcher in this game, we're going to see him hit, we're going to see him play in the field.
Good breaking ball and even better take. But, Mike, you have to think a guy like Cozart, when he goes back home and plays for his high school team, if he's not pitching, he's probably playing first or right field and hitting homers.
Yeah, eventually, so here's the only caveat. He played varsity as a 7th grader, so maybe he was a pitcher only because everybody was 6 years older.
Got some help up in the zone, little run on the fastball. Kendall goes down on strikes.
I'll tell you guys, Kibru Pam, he's very unique. His arm stroke is very short. His hitting stroke is very short, very direct to the baseball.
Michael Torres gets his call. He's out of Miami, Florida. All tournament at the 14U World Series, young Mr. Torres. And he plays for Elite Squad. That's his travel team. Good looking breaking ball, strike one. Pam spins it in there. Danny will spin a tail on Pam as well. Danny?
I learned a little bit more about his family today. Adopted at 4 from Ethiopia, mom Jill, dad Todd. He said he comes from a very sporty family and that they've taught him how to work as hard as you can. He looks up to Kenley Jansen. And he used to play soccer, his travel team, LA Surf. He said he gave that up actually to focus on baseball. And soccer has taught him how to be more fit and that there's no spot to pause. And he told me, by the way, guys, his English is so good, but he's still working on that.
Good stuff, Danny. Boy, great insights there on the life of Kibru Pam. That was a great report.
Looking forward a decade or so on what could happen, I'm pretty sure there's never been an Ethiopian-born big leaguer.
Well, he's on the path. He's paved the road to this point. He's on the path. He's dealing with Luis Almeida. Let us introduce him. He's out of New Jersey. Son of a 25-year firefighter, Hector, who recently retired. And so knows of sacrifice and safety, does Luis Almeida. David, you saw him at 13U National.
Yeah, he's a good hitter, but I want to see him play defense at shortstop. He plays defense with such joy and such skill. He's one of these young men who he wants every single ball hit at him at shortstop. And if you're the coach of his team, you'd probably agree with that because he's very talented at shortstop, even at 6'2", at 13 years old, fully coordinated, but does have some power in his bat. You have that leverage at 6'2". You've got to have some power.
Definitely the actions at short stand out. It's he does not. He's got the actions of an 18-year-old, not a 13-year-old. By the way, gentlemen, travel team name Real Ballers. Count me in on that as well.
You like that?
That very much. That's strong.
You're not going to forget it.
No.
Nor the Motor City Hit Dogs.
Sets the tone.
That one's outside. He earns himself a walk.
Would you rather have that or Josh Baez from the All-American Classic with his, what was Josh Baez?
Beast Mode, I think.
Beast Mode.
Yes.
Beast
Also
Mode.
very strong.
That was my favorite from the All-American Classic.
I'm all for making a statement.
Well, Carter Smith has made a lot of statements, and he's done a lot of it this year. Gulf Coast Monarchs, one of his travel teams. He's a Floridian, 13U National, hopped up on the mound and threw 83 miles an hour, ran close to a 7-flat 60. And again, there's height for a young man who's 13. This is 6 feet 2 inches of frame. Chokes up on the bat a little bit. He's tied up. Well, he's choked up. He fought it off, and he will take that all day long. Played well in right field, though. Fired on a hop. It just skips on by. Boy, that was played well out there in right. Travis Friend pounced on that ball. Well, for Smith, it may be on the knuckles, but strong enough, Mike, to earn this base hit.
Yeah, and just love the aggressiveness early in the count. Love the guys going up there ready to hit. And I think that's probably why Smith is choked up on the bat. He's got such long limbs and levers. Great hustle right there.
He's a good one. We'll hear his name called quite a bit today. Ethan Murray's from Buford, Georgia. Number 1 on that jersey. I'd like to say the crimson or the maroon jersey, but then it's the cream on the back and it flips. I think that is cool. That is a cool look. Almost looks like it's the same uniform, yet very different when you walk up on them.
All week, the uniforms have been spectacular. Well done.
Cody Barnes gets a lot of credit for all the work he does with Ben Ford. Ben Ford, Vice President of Development nationally and internationally. He's kind of the brains behind this game, really. He and his father, Jerry Ford, the founder of this company. And Jeremy Brown has to get credit of being one of the founders of this game as well. Fine scout for PG. But the artist and the man who is so creative with the uniforms and does a great job is Cody Barnes. So we've seen some wonderful unis this week.
Yeah, bravo, CB. Well done.
You're such a baseball guy. You always go nicknames.
That's right.
You're such a baseball.
Calling someone by their first name is usually a bad sign. You're in trouble. Something went wrong.
1-2 the count. Breaking ball, it's rolled foul up the third base line. Look, you casual baseball fans, just watch your local team. I don't care who your local team is. Watch now, especially since it's in Zoom. Watch the press conference on the regional sports game of the press conference of the manager after the game. You tell me how many players he calls by their real name.
Yeah.
Go ahead and tell me.
The answer is 0.
And it's only in baseball.
Yeah.
No other sport. It's just a thing. 1-2 the count. Good, well-located fastball at 82 miles an hour. We've had both pitchers, and I think what's fun about both pitchers, ice water in their veins, runners on third, big strikeout pitches to get out of messes. An inning in the books at the PG 13U Select Festival.
Don't wait for tomorrow. Make the days count. Gatorade has carbs to fuel and electrolytes to help replenish, so you can count on the proven formula. Nothing beats Gatorade.
We dropped a bowling ball on a wine bottle protected only by our play hardens on impact.
Right-hander getting ready to roll as we move into the second inning. Chase Mobley. Excited to get to see Chase go to work. The Ballers, the wow factor, a couple of travel teams. And David, this is a young man who is a college commit to Florida State.
Yeah, 6'4", about 75 pounds. And you think about it, a 13-year-old going into his freshman year at Plant City High School, Plant City, Florida, and he's already committed to Florida State. He's been up to 87 on the mound, and you just look at that body, and it's a body that as a scout you're gonna recognize right away as what young All-Americans or future draft picks look like when they're that age with that length and that height.
I'll tell you the other things that stand out, guys, is the mechanics. Very easy. The body control's outstanding. And his face is almost identical to his future pitching coach at Florida State, Jimmy Bellinger. So I don't know if that affected the recruiting process, but bravo.
Now, one thing we did see at the National Showcase where we had like 4 or 5 Florida State commits is they all had serious lettuce. They had big-time hair. That was something that they got together as Florida State commits and got in on. So they're going to have to get hold of young Mr. Mobley there and get him with the program.
Yeah, let's go.
Now, one thing I've been really impressed about in the first inning is these pitchers are coming in and being aggressive in the strike zone with 2 pitches, both the fastball and the curveball for strikes, and we'll see whether we can keep that up.
Dean Moss starts things out of Atherton, California. Quick conversation, want to get the signs right. Parents Kane and Maha. This is a young man who, again, can play on the corner of the infield if you need him to, can race around in the outfield. He was the MVP of the 13U World Series.
And this is an aggressive left-handed hitter. You probably really can't see it there. Maybe you can a bit. He gets right up on the plate. He is challenging pitchers to come inside.
It's a high fly ball, center field, down. It will roll all the way to the wall. Looking for 3, heading toward third. What a way to start things. Head first slide, a triple for Dean Moss to start things off in the second inning. My goodness.
And he's fired up. You can see him at third base. He jumped on a first pitch fastball. He was ready for that. Let's see the replay there. Got it right up in his wheelhouse, and he knew what to do with it. Yeah, he has some of the best left-handed power in this class, and it's so good he got to show it right there.
Well, you nailed it, Rons. I mean, what an first pitch you see in a game of this magnitude, and you're wailing away. Love that mentality.
Masa Chilcutt takes a fastball that is up and in. Masa, San Antonio, Texas. He was a garage gym guy, like a lot of young men who, when quarantine struck, had to go to work and do so in a garage. And he wasn't alone, and he did a lot of it. He'd hit off a tire, and you've seen that, Runes, as a workout. The old tire swing. Off the tee a lot, long toss in the street.
So many kids displayed a lot of, they showed themselves to be self-starters during this pandemic.
Nice, looked like a slider there from Mobley at 75. Working 83, 84 with the fastball, but we got the first look at the breaking ball there.
I always am so impressed with pitchers that give up a really hard hit ball, and next hitter, they're in a good count. They're not tentative, right back in the zone.
So you think about it, Runes, as he gets a swing and a miss on a hanging breaking ball that time. I mean, that means your mindset is the right thing, that you realize you have one inning. And to hang your head, as he gets a little bit of help from Chilcutt there, to hang your head after giving up that hard hit ball when you know you have one inning, that might not be an inning you'd like to remember, right?
Yeah, hard to get to the next pitch when you seldomly experience failure, and that was very impressive.
Darren Ledford. Boy, that's a good-looking pitch, diving down and away. Good sink to that. So it's 83, and it's got good, heavy life to it.
I'm looking forward to seeing Darren Ledford play. First of all, he's the only native Oklahoman on the roster, but he's not a young man from Oklahoma City or Tulsa, or as the ball gets by the catcher. And we have our first run of the ball game as Moss crosses the plate, showing the same enthusiasm he did when he reached third. Puts the West up 1-0. Anyway, getting back to Ledford, he isn't from a big city. He is not a Tulsa or Oklahoma City young man. He is from Council Hill, Oklahoma, which is a town of 150 people due east of Oklahoma City. It looks like about 100 miles. Really out in the country. And I saw him during breakfast this morning, and he is about as well put together as you will ever see a 13-year-old. This is a strong young man.
Tried to show that strength on a 2-0 pitch. Good sink. Elicits a swing and a miss, Darren. Mom is Susan. Mission Baseball, his travel team. He's a great story, too. Not only a small town, a guy who's made it to this national stage who will continue to rise, but he's overcome some physical adversities. And to be here at this point in his life with what he has overcome as he fouled it off. You see, he was born and will battle a hip disease. And he knew at a very young age that there would be discomfort. As a matter of fact, his parents made it clear that at 4, you've got to go into a wheelchair in order to function. And for a year, at 4 years old, he was in a wheelchair with a rare hip disease. And yet here he is now. Chases a pitch that dives away. That's a good-looking changeup.
We've seen 4 pitches now from 13-year-old Chase Mobley, and a curveball, slider, a mid-80s fastball, and then a nice 72-mile-an-hour changeup.
And the mechanics, guys, are just remarkably clean. You think about Mobley, pitching in college, probably 20 to 30 pounds heavier with the same clean mechanics that he repeats over and over.
Sean Gamble, Des Moines, Iowa. Left-handed bat. Takes an off-speed pitch that hits the outside corner for strike 1. Sean at the 14U Midwest World Series was an all-tournament team member. At Prospect Meadows, that beautiful complex, was 4 for 6, a couple of walks, and he homered. Boy, it looks good to those hitters, doesn't it? The secondary stuff, and then the fastball sinking.
First pitch changeup. That's impressive.
Where do you go from there in your mind, right?
This is going inside fastball right here. I got a little under it.
It's almost when Cozart threw a first pitch to a batter breaking ball. Just spun it in there for strike 1. get a younger, even though an elite younger hitter, your mind's just playing tricks on you from that point forward. Because that one's outside, 2-2.
He loves that changeup. That's really unique to see a kid in this age bracket that is that confident in this changeup.
Mobley just missed the outside corner. Outstanding pitch.
Outstanding pitch with intent. That's where the catcher set up. It was supposed to be right there. It might be missed by, 2-3 inches? You know, just the maturity here on Mobley's part is impressive.
3-2, he lost him. Went from 0-2 to ball 4. So Sean Gamble, who has elite speed, I mean elite, he was part of a 4x100, age-appropriate, obviously, Drake Relays championship team. He has run at a national level for his age group. That's what's out at first. Jack Ruckert is from Baton Rouge, Louisiana. He's a safety and a wide receiver when he's on the football field. On the baseball field, this is a young man that plays in the middle of the infield but can and will pitch and play in the outfield.
Hitting .535 with power this summer. So high contact swing, classic middle infield body and actions.
Forget it. With the read of the baseball and the good speed, he moves up easily.
Ruckert will go to Catholic High School right there in Baton Rouge. I believe that's the alma mater of David DeLucci.
Oh, well done by you. Nolan Traeger, by the way, that's a good shot of the man catching for the West squad, trying to keep that ball with him, and he did. That one skips by. Tried to backhand that one. And a runner moves to third. It's a good mention of DeLucci by you, by the way, with Luis Gonzalez here, those two teammates and world champions in 2001 together. Gonzo's almost been serving as the ambassador of just love and baseball all week.
He's been great. He had a great line last night. I think it was for Antonio Anderson winning the MVP of the 14U event, and he hands him the trophy. He says, when you get this in the big leagues, it'll actually be a car.
We did. We picked that up, didn't we?
Yeah, Gonzo was great. Love it.
Ruckert thought about it, but that sinking fastball a little bit high to Jack.
It's almost problematic, David, where Mobley's fastball's got so much life that it's hard to keep it in the strike zone.
Yeah, there's a point where pitchers have to learn how much life they have, and instead of pitching to spots, throw the middle of the plate, because that's what's happening. You called it there, Runes. He's throwing the ball trying to hit a spot when he could get to that spot just by throwing to the middle of the plate.
And elicited a ton of swings, too. Ruckert, who draws that walk, has a ton of success on his resume as a USA team member, too. 12U national team in Taiwan a couple of years ago. Heck, he homered against Australia. He went 4 for 4 against Italy. You'll never forget moments like that. Nolan Traeger. That one is high and away to Nolan, fellow catcher, standing right by the man who's doing the work for the East squad, Xavier Rivera. Traeger is a TCU commit. Texas 12, his travel team. 1-1.
You can see why Traeger was attractive to TCU. I think it's one of the as good of a player development program as we have in college baseball, and Nolan Traeger's extremely fundamentally sound as a left-handed hitter and as a defensive catcher.
I think something Mobley's obviously, with the run on the fastball and the run on the changeup, he hasn't thrown any breaking balls to left-handed hitters. He's obviously at the stage of his development where throwing that changeup to lefties and the breaking balls to righties is in his mind. But that might be a good time for a slider, and I think that's what we got another fastball there. Might be a good time to throw a slider and just bring the ball in instead of working away.
You always wonder too, for someone like Mobley, is he actually throwing a two-seam fastball, or that's his natural action?
I'm thinking the same thing. I mean, this is a young Brandon Webb-like sink, as that one is high. Throw on down. That'll trickle away, and a run will score. Second run of the inning here for the West squad. They lead it by a score of 2-0. Stolen base puts the wheels in motion. Rivera off the mark with the throw. Ruckert's at second.
Catcher's always tested in these games. It's fun. I mean, the catchers, they love it, right? There are more chances to show off the arm.
Well, stroked into center field, down for a base hit. Come on down. They send the runner on the round. It's a beautiful approach, and it's an RBI, and it's 3 runs on the scoreboard for the West squad. Nolan Traeger, what an approach.
Yeah, Runes, you said a strong fundamental player in Traeger, and you really saw that there in the left-handed swing. Didn't try to do too much with it. He had a distinct lean and lift approach in batting practice, putting the ball in the air, but that was a nice under control, high contact, middle of the field swing.
Yeah, Traeger from Spring, Texas, and that's, if I'm not mistaken, the Houston area, which is as good an amateur baseball as you're going to see nationally. Just a ton of talent down in that region.
Traeger will catch, so Masa Chilcutt will run for him at first. This is Scottsdale, Arizona-based Cam Caminiti. He will pitch when needed. He has had a really fabulous 13U season this year as he takes strike 1.
Here we saw that breaking ball to a left-handed hitter. I think Mobley figured out that I'm not going to see any right-handed hitters. This is a left-hand dominated part of the lineup. But Caminiti has as sweet and smooth a left-handed swing as you will ever want to see.
He's digging out of an 0-2 hole now, 83 miles an hour. Caminiti, Scottsdale Dirtbags, his travel team, good in the classroom, right about a 4.0 GPA. Impressed at 13U National. I'll get your thoughts, if not now, but later, David. And he also played up at the 14U World Series and had a 444 on base at that event, playing every game.
Yeah, and playing up is something I think a lot of these players do, just not Samuel Cozart, but a lot of them do because of their talent level. And anytime you get to play against older players who are more physical, who might be more talented, that's the route to making yourself a better ball player.
How about this at bat for Caminiti? He's seen fastball, breaking ball, and changeup for a strike in a 13U game, and he's spoiled 2 of these really good changeups to get himself to another pitch.
And he's thinking, okay, what am I going to see now?
Runner goes, pitches high. Trouble getting the handle on the baseball as that one heads into center field. Chilcutt will stay put. Running out there for Traeger. That's one of those things, Mike, that we don't make enough of at any level. The ability to stay alive. And then, a hitter will get a hit, and all we'll do is talk about the hit. Understandably so, but won't go on and on as we should about the couple of tough pitches he fouled off.
Yeah, and you give a runner a chance to get themselves in scoring position.
And look what he's done to this at bat. He was done, right? He was 0-2 and looked uncomfortable at 0-2.
Yep. Yeah, I mean, who wouldn't be when you've seen 3 pitches for a strike in your first at bat in an all-star game like this?
He takes outside. That's strike 3. Good sinking fastball, grabs the black of the plate. Really good stuff, though. Really good stuff as we move into the middle of the second inning, and we're about to give away some hardware. Really excited about this opportunity. We're going to give away our Rawlings Defensive Player of the Year. They will let me chat in-house to this stadium. And inside of Chickasaw Bricktown Ballpark, certainly a celebration, a streaming audience globally on PerfectGame.tv. It's time to present our Rawlings Defensive Player of the Year, representing Perfect Game, successful player and manager for decade after decade. Clint Hurdle presenting that gold glove to Luis Almeida. Big round of applause. Our Rawlings Defensive Player of the Year, Luis Almeida.
Luis, I know that you had to get creative during quarantine with your workouts. I know you were helping with your brother Anthony. What did you do to stay ready to earn an award like this?
Well, I focused on academics, and then, academics is the first thing that you always have to, put your work in. Also, when in March, my parents had attracted COVID-19, so I had my dad I couldn't train with, so I called up my friend, and we'll go to the ballpark, and we'll just hit ground balls, BP, and, all the routine stuff and work out as well.
That's a good friend. I know that Roberto Clemente is somebody that you look up to. How does he inspire your game?
Well, Roberto Clemente was a good ball player, but not only he was a good ball player, he was also a good person also. He also died doing something well for others, so I want to be like that when I grow up.
Luis, congratulations.
Thank you so much.
Darren. Oh, we have one more, Clint.
A gold glove, a real gold glove.
Thank you.
Awesome. Congratulations, Luis. Darren.
Yeah, good stuff. What a great interview again, Danny, but what a thoughtful, usually you get an on-field interview like that, and it's quick, and there's very little thought that goes into it from the athlete, with all due respect. He knew it was his opportunity to share it. He honored his parents who have had to battle through COVID-19. What a thoughtful interview. Boy, that was a pleasure. Congratulations.
I was all ready to talk about his defensive award and mention his defense earlier. Now I'm more impressed with him as a young man.
Yeah, I mean, his command of who Roberto Clemente really was, that warms your heart, right?
That's a great point. Losing his life serving those most in need. This is Paul Dominguez Walker on the mound. Talented right-handed pitcher. We got to know him. He was on our roster reveal show. And so excited to see him work. Aiden Harris is who he faces. Now, Aiden out of Midlothian, Virginia. Richmond Braves, his travel team. And there's Paulie out there on the bump. Lives in Anaheim, California, does Dominguez Walker. Gets 83 miles an hour. If you ask him about his dream schools, he'll tell you about Long Beach State, and he'll tell you about Arizona State. Those are his two dream schools.
Love it.
He'll also give a lot of credit to Jason Rodriguez, his travel ball coach, who has been a great coach, and you see who Aiden Harris is as well. Dominguez Walker's travel ball coach has been a great coach and also a father figure, has provided some opportunities for him that he's needed, and he'll tell you he's needed them. So you coaches out there, you could touch some big lives like this one, and Rodriguez has done that, and Dominguez Walker proud to talk about it. A little pause there with a breaking ball that's inside corner. Oh, backyard baseball just entered the ballpark, Runes.
Well, this is West Coast, vintage West Coast pitching right here. The mechanics are very simple, and it's just, you know, David, with the West Coast right-handers, you always talk about they've just got great feel for pitching, and that Dominguez Walker all over that right there.
I was thinking the exact same thing when I saw that sequencing and stuff. I said, that's a West Coast guy who's played some baseball and has experience. And, you know, when you're 13 years old, you can throw 84 and a 72-mile-an-hour curveball. That helps the big picture.
No doubt.
Bridgewater, Virginia's Micah Matthews. Jenna and Charles are his parents. His younger sister is Cherish. That's a pretty name. And this athlete who showed out at 13U National, so much so, David, that at 13 showed an exit velocity of 87 miles an hour. Swing and a miss, good pitch.
Yeah, Dominguez Walker is facing some impressive hitters here. We didn't really get to talk about Aiden Harris, who's 6'3", 195, and incredibly tooled up, which is almost the same description for Micah Matthews. But that steady diet of breaking balls for strikes and 83-mile-an-hour fastballs, but most of all, the strikes part of it has them guessing.
Fastball, commanding the fastball and just flipping that breaking ball in there. This is beautiful.
There it is again. Just hang. You got to be, by the way, confident and athletic to pull that off.
No doubt.
Hang that leg over the rubber. Got to be confident in your core athleticism. Because if you drift off with that breaking ball and it hangs, this kid's going to hit it off the wall. 3-2. Not wasting it. Fastball, 84, Dave.
Yeah, one thing I've been impressed with all the pitchers in this game so far is their ability to throw their fastball for strikes. They're thrown within their mechanics, and especially Dominguez Walker. He looks out like he's out there throwing almost BP when he's throwing a fastball. It's so easy, it's smooth and simple.
Froze him. Hung over the rubber again. A true pause, and then a fastball at 83, beautifully executed over the inside corner.
I'll give you guys a comp. It's not the body type, but the style of pitching. Shane Bieber just filling up the zone with the fastball and both sides of the plate, flipping that breaking ball in there at will.
It looked like he dropped his slot just a little lower there, like he was throwing a two-seamer, and got some nice run on it.
Cut to that pitch, diving down and in. Ethan Salas is his foe out of Caracas in Venezuela. Great family lineage, playing professional baseball. Dad with the Braves organization, grandfather with Kansas City and Houston. He drives that one. It hugs the line, heading into the corner. That's off the line. That's a fair ball. Salas hurries on around. He's thinking about three. He's heading towards third. The throw, the relay. Wow, what a relay throw. Sean Gamble went out. He trickled out to do the work and be the cutoff man. The right fielder heading back to pick up that baseball as well. Everyone involved doing an outstanding job that time.
I think it was Massa Chilcutt with that cutoff throw. Massa, a primary catcher, but very athletic, plays all over the field. He made that throw from out in shallow right field and threw a perfect throw to third. Outstanding defensive play by the West team.
Representing perfect game, Jared Goodwin on the field. It's time to present PG's 13U Two-Way Player of the Year. A big round of applause for Connor Griffin. Connor Griffin, Perfect Game's Two-Way Player of the Year. Outstanding wherever he is needed on the West team today, and certainly a winner of that home run challenge out of Florence, Mississippi. Congratulations, Connor. Right-hander working on the mound. By the way, that was a fun award to give away. And, David, you were right, by the way. That was Chilcutt who trickled out to fire in that cutoff. He had come on and was playing second base. That's a long throw. There was a little bit of air underneath it, but incredibly accurate as Eric Parker, the right-hander, goes to work.
Yeah, looking forward to seeing Parker pitch. We got to know him a little bit in the pregame, and just so athletic. Already a South Carolina commit. 6'2", 175 pounds from Parkview High School, but maybe one of the best runners in this event, 6'9" in the 60, but also up in the mid-80s, 85 off the mound. And you just look at that athletic body and you can dream on it.
I think that's the key, Ron. He's so athletically gifted, it's hard to even project where it's going to end up, but of course you're going to bet on the athleticism.
Parker's dad is Eric, and he played college basketball. Mom, Natcher, played college basketball as well at Mississippi State, and then professionally in Brazil. His sister is 19, and I'm sure real proud of her younger brother. Her name is Jada. Colton Cordero goes right to work, puts it on the ground, ranging to his left, back behind the bag. A fine play out there. A good, strong play by Carter Smith, who made it look comfortable and easy.
Well, yeah, that was a kind of play you expect to see in a game with seniors, a pro game, a college game, the range, good arm slot. You always like to see when a young man can drop the arm slot and still make a strong throw, but nice play. Maybe the defensive play of the game so far.
Here's Boston Kellner now. Woodbury, Minnesota. Both parents playing college athletics. And this is a young man who, as he deals with an off-speed pitch, has prep hockey during his time, youth hockey. So he's played hockey. Heck, you're Minnesota. If you're going to play baseball, you would guess hockey's part of the resume as well. Doolin's Dodgers, one of his travel teams. He's played for the Meridian Panthers as well. 0-1 the count on Boston Kellner.
Look at that breaking ball. 62. Was Zach Greinke in the house. Let's go.
There's something interesting about that pitch, too, as he'll work from the stretch. Got some help on that one. That one fluttered up. Looked like a changeup that time. But up in the zone looked good and got a swing and a miss.
That's almost below hitting speed right there. You throw off Kellner's timing so much. He's got to reload and swing again almost.
Yeah, that's school zone hitting speed right there.
Well, we just saw him pitch, but Paul Dominguez-Walker now has a chance to hit. It was fun to watch him work.
Sure was.
Mom is Olivia. We want to say hello to her. She is a big part of his development. And there's all kinds of siblings. I'm sure some are watching in different spots. David and Joey. There's Destiny. There's Angel. There's Liz. And they're all older. This is the baby. So at 13, he's got siblings up to 27 years old. You don't think they baby him? Even though he looks nothing like a baby, as big and strong as he is.
He is big and strong.
1-2 the count.
Really cool for Dominguez Walker. He is obviously a really strong kid, but he pitches with feel. He doesn't pitch with strength or just overpowering the game. He's really got a feel for the craft.
Eric Parker skips that one in there.
With as gifted athletically as Parker is, I would have never guessed, okay, he's got great feel for spin. You would think that would come way down the road from here, but already you can tell he's really confident with that breaking ball he throws.
I'm waiting for a fastball here.
Yeah?
I want to see it.
That one ranged up and in and got him, so you get a couple of more pitches to watch him work. He's headed, by the way, this right-hander to Parkview High School. Got him right up there in the tricep. When you think about Eric Parker, when you think about Parkview, I should say, where Eric is going, you think about Chan Brown, the great coach, Miles Garrett, who's one of my personal favorites, heading off to Vanderbilt. As that pitch is high. Anyway, that's a great program, and Parkview has some great unis, too.
Now you have my attention, Sut. Jeff Francoeur, I believe, is a Parkview guy, correct?
He is. They'll go with the deep slate graphite almost gray instead of just a soft gray. And there's some orange that will pop off that gray, too. I mean, some good, strong orange. You would be a fan. And Miles wore them great.
We would be remiss, Sut, if we did not. There are two gentlemen who play for the Canes here, and I'm going to make a bold statement. I think the Canes travel organization, they have the best uniforms in all of baseball. Big leagues included.
Every level?
Yeah.
Okay.
Off the charts, outrageously good uniforms.
That's really a huge statement. Good. Breaking ball spins it in there. You can expect later on PerfectGame.tv on our multitude of talk shows that they'll be debating that you brought that up.
That's right.
That's when we'll be next level.
That will be next level.
We have a couple of people and a female host just kind of working a debate between what Mike Rooney said earlier in the day.
That's right.
That would be a great thing for Clinton Yates to have picked up on Friday night.
That's right. I would defer to Clinton in that area. That he is the swag expert.
Caldwell hits it a mile high to the right side. Looking right into the sun and putting it away out there. For the East squad. And good work by Mr. Parker as that one is hauled in. Like Coy James. The Perfect Game Select Festival continuing with more hardware to give away. Representing Augusta. And the great relationship Perfect Game is forging with them, Jorge and Jill Ricera. And Jorge is down below now on behalf of his family. Our Augusta Impact Award goes to 13U Select Festival athlete Michael Torres. Congratulations, Michael, and a big round of applause for the young man here at the 13U Select Festival. The finest 13U athletes in the nation. Mike from the college perspective and the scouting perspective from the college coaches. David from 3 decades of coaching, or I should say recruiting and scouting at the pro ranks. With your perspective, and Danny's done some great storytelling down below today already. So it's time to see Boston Kellner pitch. Boston out of Minnesota, as we talked about. At the 13U World Series, went 7 2/3 and struck out 11.
The scouting report, Darren, on Kellner is that he's one of the most polished pitchers in this class. He's a 3-pitch guy with a changeup that he'll throw at any count, a plus curveball, and up to 83 on his fastball.
Adrian Jimenez takes the bat and gets ready to go to work.
One thing on Kellner, guys, how cool is it to see a Minnesota kid in an event like this when those players tend to be very late bloomers? And, of course, Minnesota's provided some great big leaguers. Think about Paul Molitor, Dave Winfield, and then last year Max Meyer is the 3rd pick overall out of the University of Minnesota as an absolute dynamic right-handed pitcher.
I'm disappointed you left off Kent Herbeck.
Oh, wow. That is disappointing. -1, Coach Rooney.
81 miles an hour fastball, misses high, 1-0 the count. Jimenez out of Sugar Hill, Georgia. Performed, really performed, as he's tied up that time at the 13U National Showcase. On across the diamond, on a ground ball out that time.
All right, gentlemen, can we hit more ground balls to Jose Perdomo? Because that is something special.
That was just smooth and easy, though. I want to see a really difficult play.
Yeah.
Go in the hole and let's show the arm off.
Dylan Atkins from the left side, open stance, loads up that bat leg as he winds the bat behind that helmet. He's a Maryland native. He can pitch, get on the mound from the left side, and throw if needed. 6 feet tall. Canes National, his travel team.
Played up with the Canes National 15U, and you mentioned earlier, David, it's, the skill level you have to bring to the table to play up in an organization like that is significant.
And especially when you're talking the Canes, who are in every age group always considered one of the top organizations, and to play up 2 levels with their national team really speaks loudly.
Boy, just enough tilt to that one. Looked like a cut fastball that got the inside corner. Dylan also went to the 14U National Showcase, a year up with regard to showcasing his skills. As he swings through that one, through 82 from the outfield, 83 from first base, ran right out of 7 flat 60.
Really impressive kid. Met him before the game. Very impressed with the fact that he's an Eagles fan, Philadelphia Eagles. So he's got the toughness and charisma.
That pitch misses a little bit low, ball 4. So wait, you're basing toughness and charisma on the fact that he's an Eagles fan?
Well, yeah. So if you're a Philadelphia Eagles fan, I take your makeup grade and it bumps up 2
really?
notches, right?
Okay.
Yeah, because you're a quality decision maker.
What if you're like an LA Chargers fan?
That's at least a grade down.
Really?
Yeah, maybe
Okay.
a grade and a half.
Okay. Xavier Rivera. I don't know if I like that scouting system. That one is high, 1-0 the count. Puerto Rican talent and an athletic family. His sister Nadalia played Division I volleyball at University of Long Island, Brooklyn, LIU Brooklyn, I should say. And he's talked about what his life has looked like the last 3 or 4 years with Maria tormenting and tearing apart Puerto Rico a couple of years ago, and then going through COVID as a young man this year. He shares his perspective that at this 13-year-old age group, he said, I've seen a few things I guess I wish I haven't seen in my life, but because my family and I were alive or okay, I've learned from it, certainly. That is one heck of a breaking ball.
Yeah, we'd seen pretty much just all fastballs from Kellner before that breaking ball, and I think we're going to see more of the secondary stuff now. Wouldn't be surprised if we might not see Dylan Atkins running here in this pitch or the next pitch. There he goes.
Breaking ball, a good one. Went on a breaking ball. And a stolen base. Atkins got a really good jump. Good pitch to run on. Don't want to look past how good the pitch was, though.
Yeah, when you're talking about a 7-flat runner at this age, you talked about perspective on fastball velocity earlier in the show. But if you're a 7-flat runner at 13 years old, that puts you in the very, very elite of your speed, because speed is something that's really going to grow as you get stronger.
Rivera, 5-star, one of his travel teams. Potros Los Llamas, another one, as he spoils a good curveball. Mike and I talking about that earlier, staying alive on a pitch like that.
Yeah, because that's a hammer, by the way, gentlemen. Like, that's not just a flip it in there and hope for the best. That has got some serious downward tilt.
Xavier also went to the older 14U National Showcase and performed as he works a 2-2 count here and takes high 3-2. Had a 1.89 pop time through 75 from behind the plate. Exit velocity of 86 miles an hour for Xavier Rivera. Takes high, ball 4. Snap throw, nothing doing. So Rivera walks. Adkins walks. And now Coy James. Coy James takes his opportunity to hit number 10 out of Advanced North Carolina.
Where James was so impressive over the last 2 days in batting practice is it's a short and quick swing, but he has outstanding barrel accuracy. And that's a term that really has just come into vogue in scouting, it seems like in the last few years, but barrel accuracy, because he squares up everything he makes a pass at.
He's got he's got the leg kick, but you just see so many kids with leg kicks that it's just rushed and inconsistent. He shows tremendous control. Love the tempo of his swing.
And he picked on a breaking ball to put in play that time. Great decision to get the runner at second base, making the position look very easy out there. Again, Jose Perdomo. Runners on first and third to throw a little bit high, but just to get that out with an off-balance throw, that's a comfortable shortstop.
I don't think too many 13-year-old shortstops are going back across their body to throw to second base on that. Well done.
Yeah, I think a lot of even older, I would even say a lot of college shortstops, you just kind of panic and just default to first base, and that's showing great instincts there.
We saw Eric Parker, and we saw him work on the mound, the South Carolina commit. By the way, a great basketball player, too. And he'll take that one, he'll wear it, and the bases are loaded. And it's back to the top of the order here at the Perfect Game Select 13U Age Group Baseball Festival. Jacob Kendall struck out back in the first inning. .82 miles an hour, 1-0 the count. So, Mike, to understand what you're talking about earlier, are college coaches still glancing in on this one, but really maybe a year from honing it, or are they watching this one too very closely?
I think for sure watching this very closely, because this is the creme de la creme. You know, it's because I think the misnomer is that every 14-year-old is being recruited. That is the top 10%.
Right.
You know, the kids that just, it's so obvious that they're going to be of the Division I talent level. But yeah, in a game of this stature, you're peeking in for sure.
High fly ball, center field. That lands in the glove of the center fielder, and the inning comes to an end. Enjoying seeing the work. To this, the fourth inning. And Jax Bishop takes the baseball, and Jax will go to work. Travis Friend, Jose Perdomo, who we just talked about. David Bishop, like a lot of these athletes, is a player that can play in the outfield if you need him. He's got a good bat. As a matter of fact, he had a 600 on base percentage at the 13U 60-90 East BCS Championship. He's played at the 14U level at the WWBA. But today, we see the young man out of Rome, Georgia. We see him pitch.
Yes, one of many players at this game who plays for the East Cobb Astros has really put up some numbers this summer. 22 innings pitched, 6 hits allowed, and 33 strikeouts. Has topped out at 85 miles an hour. So someone who can go out and get outs and has proved it this summer.
And Travis Friend is his foe to start this inning.
See what you did there, Sut?
Well, I mean, Danny's raised the bar. I
She
better
really
get
has,
going.
seriously.
I mean,
We all
me?
better
You're going to hear
stretch.
a lot of that stuff all day.
Yes. Time to downshift. Let's go.
Travis flied to left field, and we do need to point out he didn't just fly to left field. He leaned on a baseball, hit it hard. If he's in a home ballpark for his age group, he's probably enjoying a trot around the diamonds. He hit it very hard.
Sure did. And these are the matchups that you just love in games like this. Bishop, who obviously misses bats with regularity, and Friend, who can really, really hit.
Breaking ball, back-to-back to start him off. 1-1 the count. Travis at the 13U World Series hit .714, a number that used to be tied to Hank Aaron and Babe Ruth. Those kind of Ruthian numbers, but he hit .714, and like those gentlemen, he homered a couple of times in that tournament as well. Kind of wrapped around that breaking ball and spun it outside.
Yeah.
3-1.
I'll add another player to this mix, and you got Ethan Salas catching.
Yes.
I mean, these are some big-time athletes all in one frame here.
Do his best fastball and beat him with it. And that one dumps in there. Two athletes come together, Murray and Jimenez, unable to make the play. But you could tell that time that Jax just said, here comes my very best.
Nice job by Aiden Harris, who's
Yes.
playing third base there on that pop-up where you have everybody in center field. Travis Friend, who's maybe the fastest runner here. You see nobody at second base right there. Friend was rounding first, thinking about going to second. All of a sudden, Aiden Harris hustles over from third base to keep Friend from going to second.
The thing coaches and scouts notice when they're watching a game.
No doubt, yep. Keep that runner out of scoring position.
Here is the 5-tool award winner as that one advances Friend this time in Jose Perdomo.
And you can be sure that these players, even though a lot of them haven't known each other for more than a couple days, they watch batting practice and they watch each other play. So Perdomo hasn't got any favors in his 2 trips up to the plate.
Ethan Salas with the play drifting behind home plate to get Perdomo.
That's an impressive play by Salas, because the pitch before, he clanks a ball that he's probably getting ahead of himself, trying to throw out Friend at second base, and then to make a really difficult play, a catcher's pop-up in arguably the biggest stadium he's played in.
Connor Griffin takes his swing at things. Two-way player of the year given away just a few moments ago by Perfect Game. And when you look at where he can play, you just start reeling it off. You almost need a court reporter to keep up with it. Outfield, right-handed pitcher, third base, shortstop, utility. Wherever you need him, he'll go there. And the bat plays. That's the key.
Yeah, the thing about Connor Griffin, if he had a terrible mechanical swing, I'd still be in love with the athlete and the player. I love his swing. His setup, he's got great leverage in this swing, really stays on, keeps his leverage. There's so much to like here.
Open stance. You know, you could see the approach right there with that take.
Yep, no doubt.
Right there. On balance, on time. That pitch looked good until it got about 10 feet away from the plate.
Yeah, that was a changeup from Bishop.
Chased a fastball up that time. Put away out there in center field. Like Matthews out there with the play.
I thought for sure Friend would be tagging up from second and going. He went back and tagged early.
Did you get a hang time on that?
No, I didn't. Yes, I did, actually. 5:15.
Okay.
Not huge.
Look at David with the stopwatch. You can take this the kid out of scouting, but not the scouting out of the kid, right?
You've never seen an analyst with a stopwatch in his hand the whole game?
I'm not sure, but I love it.
Here's Dean Moss. Friend takes off. Throw gets by. Friend will score quite easily. Aiden Harris was handcuffed with that throw by Salas. So Travis Friend makes it 4-0 West squad. Right now, West Coast, best coast, certainly. And now Moss deals with Bishop.
Yeah, don't blink here. D. Moss is ready to do damage from pitch 1.
Yeah, he wants to see that fastball inside. Change up outside. Oh, not a change. That fastball had a lot of run on it.
Sure did.
Well, with that arm action that Bishop has, that whippy low 3/4, mid 3/4, you expect a lot of fastball run. Got a little higher on that one. Still got good life outside.
I love Moss's get up in the dish. I mean, he is on top of home plate and looking to hack.
Now, I haven't seen him do it this time, and I've watched it. At 13U, he was getting himself out in a real game with an umpire calling it almost every play because he would tap in. He would back tap onto the plate. He would touch the plate with his foot, which obviously is frowned upon by umpires. But he hasn't been doing this, so maybe somebody pointed it out to him. But that's how aggressive he is on getting on top of the plate.
Moss will hustle down and get a chance to go to work at first in front of the athletic Massa Chilcutt.
Moss is a fun at bat. Count me in for about 8 more of those. He is fun to watch compete in the box.
Quick thought on Jackson Bishop, Danny?
I wanted to let you guys know I talked to him earlier today about his mom, Julie, his biggest cheerleader. She's been battling cancer for 2 years. She's still receiving treatment, but she's here in the stands, and it's her smile that inspires her son, Jax.
Thank you, Danny. Good stuff. Hit hard out to third. On across a dime. Did he hang on the bag? Unable to hang on the bag. Pulled him off just a little bit. Aiden Harris with a nice pick. And a nice pick on the other side by Luis Almeida. Just couldn't hang there.
It's a nice play by Harris. That's a really hard hit ground ball.
I'm not going to fault Almeida, the defensive player of the year, for not feeling that. I doubt whether he's played much first base before.
Yep.
But I don't think they have a first baseman on that roster, to tell you the truth.
Are we minus someone without the gear? Is that what we
Yes,
have? A catcher losing his gear?
Yep.
Darren Ledford coming up to the plate.
That's exactly what has to happen. That's all right. Here is Darren.
You know who Ledford reminds me of a little bit? Mickey Tettleton. Just a really physical left-handed hitting catcher that's got ties to Oklahoma. I think Mickey Tettleton's an Oklahoma native.
Ledford digs in. I'll bring you up to speed on why you got a shocked look from me. That's a great comp, by the way. I don't want to leave you hanging. You know what I'm laughing at.
Yes, I know. Okay. I'm laughing with you, Darren.
Hold on. Hang in. And it's like inside jokes aren't funny, so I understand that. And it's not inside. The other night in the All-American Classic, the man sitting in your chair, ESPN's Clinton Yates, also comped a player to Mickey Tettleton.
No way.
I mean, right. Mickey Tettleton, twice in a weekend. I think his last game he played, it may have been in the Carter administration, and he's been mentioned twice this weekend.
We got to send tapes to him.
Yeah.
We got to find him.
You know, the low
And then you say send tapes.
That's right. Tapes.
Well, he would probably. He's from that generation of my generation.
It's a retro broadcast.
Oh, that one skips on by. I get a kick out of it because we gave Clinton Yates a hard time for mentioning Mickey Tettleton.
Love it.
But an Oklahoma guy, right? And that's, that's why your comp makes sense.
Great player at Oklahoma State.
We'll make sure and get him some tapes, maybe 3/4 inch. we'll send him on over.
8-track.
Ledford. I can't, David, you have more of the photographic mind. Who was he comping Mickey Tettleton, do you remember?
Oh, Jiminy.
That's okay. Don't worry about it. I sold your memory.
It was
big.
It was from a high hand set.
High pop left side, pitch down and away. Chasing, charging, coming on. Diving play! Oh, Michael Torres!
That was sweet. That was full running catch, full out dive in front of you. And that's harder than it looks at right in front of you. You know, sometimes when you slide feet first, but that head first dive, outstanding play by Michael Torres. You get to see it again here.
The awards continue at the Perfect Game 13U Select Festival, and representing the innovative company K-Motion is Steve Diamond. The K-Motion Award goes to the very gifted and talented Jacob Kendall. A big round of applause for Jacob Kendall, the winner of the K-Motion Award. Congratulations, Jacob, for what you have accomplished. Young man out of Jacksonville, Florida. Glad to have you back at the ballpark. Darren Sutton, Mike Rooney. David Ronsley and Danny Wexelman. And our senior producer on this project is Steve Banta. Connor Griffin. So you put a bat in his hands, and there's, a hitter that comes in with that leverage. It's Dale Murphy, it's Richie Sexton. Then he gets on the mound and looks even more sleight of frame when he gets up on the bump, and all of a sudden looks like Leverage City. I look like Kevin Brown's coming at me now. Oh, those are long arms and long legs, huh, Mike?
Great comp, and the throwing stroke is very short and clean, and watching him throw from the outfield, it's eye-popping.
Wonderful to deal with, the home of the Oklahoma City Dodgers. This Bricktown district, great food, great restaurants. And they have done a nice job in what we hope are the later stages of a pandemic. We're not sure, really, but safety combined with peace of mind and very good food and hospitality. Kudos to Oklahoma City. What a joy it has been to be here all week long. And as things open back up, we expect to see more baseball played. Perfect Game baseball here in OKC as the relationship grows, and we look forward to seeing all of you here.
And the baseball gods have spoken again, and Michael Torres, by benefit of making that great catch to end the top of the fourth inning, gets to lead off the bottom of the fourth inning.
So the baseball gods, the gift is that you're tired? I mean, and
no,
you
get recognition for your play. The guy who makes the great defensive play always leads off the next inning, and he always gets a double down the line.
Now, if you do that, David, I'm going to go with your baseball god scenario. What a beautiful approach as that one is laced to the left side. An incredible piece of hitting as that one trickles on by. He'll head to third. How far will he go? He'll head home. He will stop right there. The stop sign is put out. Michael Torres, now he is tired, but with good reason. And Mike Rooney, I love this approach.
Yeah, because Connor Griffin is throwing BBs. I mean, this is real velocity right here, and does such a beautiful job just staying within himself and letting Griffin provide the velocity. That is a beautiful piece of hitting.
And I think that's what we've come to know from Michael Torres. He's a scrappy player. He does a lot of different things on the baseball field, and that just shows it one more time.
Hit by the pitch. Runner will have to head on back. Almeida, who had walked his first time, hopes his final at bat, he'll get a chance to swing the bat.
That's something interesting, David. As impressive as Connor Griffin's fastball is and the command of it, he looks like he's still trying to find the feel for a breaking ball. And I think that's not uncommon at this age, is just figuring out what's going to be the best breaking ball for me and my arm stroke.
Yeah, we have to remember that we're talking about 13-year-olds and how many innings has he thrown, especially being such a talented position player.
So, first glance, Carter Smith, and you might have seen him before, but when you saw him at the 13U National Showcase, what did you take away?
he was my top prospect there. We had players like Salas and Perdomo and a whole bunch of players here, maybe I think 15 players that were here, and he was my top prospect from the 13U National. He stood out in so many different ways. We've seen his actions at shortstop. He really, really hit the ball well down in Boomba that weekend, and he just looked at 6'1", 155 pounds like he's just going to keep growing, and the athleticism is already there.
We will hear his name called in just a bit. I've been able to sneak open the envelope and see some of the awards that are coming up, and he will have his name called. We saw a 3-0 green light yesterday that was a ball that was nearly hit out. 3-1 the count in the 14U game. Carter Smith out of Cape Coral, Florida. As David said, multifaceted with regard to talents. Pulled his hands in and somehow handled that ball at 82. That hits him in the belt buckle if he doesn't make contact.
Yeah, he's waiting for a pitch in the middle of the play. If you remember the first time up, he fisted a ball down the right field line for a double. Probably had a little stinger after that one and had to fight that one off his hip. He's like, he wants one in the middle of the plate now.
Well, that's a good move. Really athletic move to first. Well, he's thinking to himself, look, I came to this event. It's a showcase event. Go ahead and groove me one now. I'm ready.
That's right.
I don't like having my hands tied up.
Reach back and throw the hard as you can right in the middle of the plate, Connor.
Let's see what he gets on 3-2. It's a breaking ball. It's a ground ball, and that's a nice play. Griffin will throw toward the plate with the tag. Got him on the shoulder. Just a nice, easy play. An athletic pitcher, certainly, because he plays all over the field. Darren Ledford applied the tag at home plate.
That was definitely not the pitch that Smith was looking for. He was bailing. He was looking fastball, fought it off, but maybe next time up, just like with Almeida, maybe he'll get that pitch if he gets another at bat.
Yeah, how about that 3-2 breaking ball from Connor Griffin? Impressive.
Showing some confidence.
Ethan Murray, the East Cobb Astros, his coach, one of the coaches on that travel team, Wes Etheridge, as he chases up and away. Good high spin rate fastball there. Said I would hit every day with my dad. When we were quarantined, worked on strength and agility a ton, and it paid off. Slow breaking ball, swing and a miss. Paid off in a couple of ways. At 13U National, Murray had an exit velocity of 78 through almost 80 from the mound. And at the 13U World Series, had an on-base percentage of 632. As that one's high. They've stayed safe the best they can, these athletes, and because of that and the ability to get out some, it's just been a blessing for them. They all lost their high school seasons. Slow bender went back to it.
Picked up a couple outs on that curveball now.
Yeah, and what's really interesting and probably not surprising because Carter Griffin's this kind of athlete, his breaking ball has gotten better each time he's thrown it. You know, the first one was a little rough and then throws it for a strike and then throws it for an out pitch right there.
Aiden Harris. 1-0 the count to the big fella. Adrian and Rennie, his parents, loves the Atlanta Braves. Loves, like so many young athletes, Ronald Acuna. Rolls that one to the right side. He's got himself a base hit, quite possibly an RBI. They'll send the runner on around. The throw goes to third. It's a good one, but in there safe, trailing behind Harris. In there safe at second. Slade Caldwell made a nice throw to third. He had no shot at home plate, but then give credit to Harris, who trailed the throw the entire time and ended up at second.
Yeah, we've seen Harris now twice with heads-up plays, once on defense covering second base from his third base position, now on taking the extra base, getting himself in scoring position.
That's really impressive. You know, that just indicated how hard he plays because he doesn't have to play that hard. He's so physically imposing. You add that level of hustle to it, and that's incredible.
4-1 is the score. Runners on second and third. Just the little things, Mike. Just doing the little things and picking up the game and being intuitive about it. At 13, that means you got to be playing a lot of games. Micah Matthews has played a lot of games, and he's played them well. 4 times he's been all-tournament this summer. His school coach, Turner Ashby, his travel team, his team elite. An example, just one of the stops he had at the 13U World Series. He got on base half the time, had a 500 on base. And some of you who are casually watching this might think, well, it's a tournament. I mean, those numbers, that's a small sample size. That's a week of baseball. You know, you play at a PG event like that, it's not 3 days. It's a week, sometimes upwards of 40 plate appearances.
And playing national competition, too, by the way.
Right. It's a good breaking ball.
Big pitch here if you're keeping score. 2 outs, men on second, third, 2-2 count. You know they're being competitive down in the dugouts.
So when he was much younger, Micah had a chance to go to the island of Samoa. He has a large Samoan family, very large Samoan family, with a lot of relatives that have played college football. He's very proud of his heritage. Doesn't vividly remember the trip, can't wait to go back again. Stayed back on that breaking ball, foul ball. So, Mike, the body might have leaked a little bit, but the hands didn't.
Yeah, I mean, just so impressive to not only stay back on a breaking ball like that, but really hammer it. And to your point, too much on it, too much. Couldn't keep it fair.
Waited as long as he could.
Well, Micah Matthews and Connor Griffin are the perfect example of this game. If you're a pitching coach, you can't wait to get your hands on Connor Griffin. I mean, so much to work with. And same thing with Micah Matthews. I mean, he's already really intimidating in the box, but the bat speed, the athleticism, there is a ton to work with there.
Matthews loves the Nationals. That's his team, and Juan Soto is his favorite. And we'll skip on by to the backstop. It'll go, and a run will score.
Might have had a cross up there or something. Catcher looked like he was going to, Ledford looked like he was going to go down and block it, and it stayed up. Juan Soto is hardly older than Micah Matthews.
We need to get him off the Nationals.
I mean, his favorite players are Soto and Acuna, and it's like there's not much age difference there, guys.
Good point.
I thought that was ball 4. Seemed to be some confusion there.
That's a good at bat right there.
Yeah.
So Matthews hung around, spoiled a pretty good breaking ball. And now Ethan Salas will hit.
Yeah, one thing that impressed me about Salas, I think I mentioned when he doubled down the line last time, when I saw him in Florida, the swing was great. But there wasn't a lot of, as you'd expect from a 13-year-old, a lot of strength behind it. And just watching him take BP, watching that first at-bat, he has gotten stronger just in the last 6-7 weeks since I saw him.
Kind of reminds me of Derek Curiel from the 14U game, where kids that have bat speed and awareness, and they can really impact the baseball despite, not being very heavy. And there's so much strength they're going to gain over the next 5 years.
A little visit to the mound here by Junior Spivey. Calm his pitcher down. Get everybody on the same page.
I do recall Junior Spivey saying last night that he is 2-0 in his perfect game coaching career, so sure this 2-run lead needs to be maintained.
And I'm sure he has mentioned that to Flash Gordon over in the other dugout.
Yeah, it was definitely not something that was being kept under wraps.
No. It's surprising, even if you talk about tournaments, showcases, how competitive these coaches are. They know their record. The Bobby Freelands and the Rico Billups, Lloyd Thompsons, they know their records against each other.
I'll tell you where else they were competing if we have a moment. If not, we'll do it in a bit, was raising funds for those in need. I mean, they were battling in the fundraising department, too.
Love it.
Junior Spivey, Bobby Freeland, Lloyd Thompson, Kevin Paxson, Joe Patterson. The staff with Junior, the manager of the West squad. 2-1 the count. Flash Gordon, Rico Billups, Andrew McGuire, J.P. Holman, and longtime Major League player and manager Clint Hurdle in the East dugout. Back to the screen it goes. That's a smart man, Flash Gordon, because when you're a newer manager, look, he's managed at this event before, but when you're a newer manager, to put a long-serving manager as your bench coach, there's a lot of wisdom there.
He doesn't quite have the reps that Coach Hurdle does he?
That one is high. That's another play of yours that I like when you deliver. You put the coach in front of it.
Yes.
The college or the youth level instead of the manager. I love that, Coach Rooney. Outside corner fastball, that's strike 3.
Well, whatever Junior Spivey said, it calmed down his big right-hander.
Well, it's simple, right? I mean, the stuff is really good. You're athletic. You can command a couple of pitches, just start letting it move, and that was a good way to cool things down. We have got a treat for you on the field. First of all, Diamond Kinetics presents our Offensive Player of the Year. Jeremy Brown, Fine Scout, National Crosschecker for a perfect game. Jeremy will help to present this award. The award goes to a young man out of Beaufort, Georgia, who worked hard during quarantine, hitting every single day with his father. This young man with incredible numbers all summer long. A big round of applause for this outstanding hitter, the Offensive Player of the Year, Ethan Murray.
Jeremy, thank you so much. Ethan, congratulations on this award. You're out here also, though, because you have a big announcement to make. You have decided where you'd like to further your baseball career and further your education. So please reach in the bucket and let us know where you've decided to commit.
Georgia Tech.
Congratulations. He's going to put this shirt on, wear it proudly. I know this is a big decision. I know a lot of factors go into this. Family, friends, location. How did you make this decision?
Ever since I was 6, I always wanted to go to a program that was in my hometown and my parents can come watch me. And it's just a pleasure to be offered.
Well, congratulations. Thank you for sharing this with us. We've got a fan in the stands, so Ethan, congratulations.
Thank you.
Darren.
Mike Rooney, I know you like that. College baseball, your passion, a commitment to Georgia Tech for this young man. Had the T-shirt ready.
Yeah, Georgia Tech's really, this is a long-standing good program under Danny Hall, but James Ramsey, they're recently, he's been the recruiting coordinator for the last several years and making a big impact on the recruiting trail. So not shocked at all to see a player of Ethan Murray's stature committing to Georgia Tech. And, hey, college baseball is better when Georgia Tech's an elite program. I think about Nomar Garciaparra, Jason Veritek, Mark Teixeira. Great tradition of just top-shelf players at Georgia Tech.
Fun moments, these youth events, fun moments when you get a player that wants to commit and do so in this situation. Sean Gamble for the West squad takes his chance to swing the bat. And the right-hander, Coy James. Coy out of Advanced, North Carolina. We've seen him with a bat in his hands. He had a bunch of Super 25 success last year, a bunch. Played up. Mike Williams, his impact coach on that Canes national team, makes a point to mention Mike and how much he has helped him. Getting everything set down in the dugout. We have all the positions we need covered, or do we?
I think we're missing a first baseman.
Okay.
I think we have I mentioned before when Luis Almeida was at first base, there isn't a first baseman, a defined first baseman on the East team. So it's, I think, a 7 innings, 7 different guys going out there. So maybe a little bit of confusion in the dugout.
That's all right. That's what makes it a fun all-star game.
So we're going to have Carter Smith going out there. We're kind of alternating shortstops right now.
Guys, we talked about this in the 14U game. There is a real resurgence of talent in Iowa for amateur baseball right now. Think about Ian Mahler, who's as good a prospect as there is in 2020, the athletic catcher. Think about Levi Usher, an outfielder at Louisville right now, who's really come into his own. Ian Bedell was a high pick. The University of Iowa under Rick Heller it's really the best the program's ever been.
And I know that warms Jerry Ford and the Ford family's hearts because they've really started Perfect Game to help players back 25 years ago from the state of Iowa get exposure that because they didn't play spring baseball, they needed exposure, and that's where Jerry started this Perfect Game from.
Up the ladder, nice play. Coy James turns it into an out. Sean Gamble is erased, the first out of the inning.
They're talking about pitchers keeping it simple on the mound. You can't do it much more simply than James is, working out of the stretch. Just a little turn and throw delivery, high arm slot. But a secondary pitcher, but obviously has talent on the mound as well. That fastball, 82 miles an hour.
And that's downhill, isn't it?
That's straight downhill.
Jack Ruckert from Baton Rouge, Louisiana. Traction Canes and USA Prime, a couple of his travel teams where he has done really good work.
And that fastball is going to play up in velocity because looking down at the field, he's just putting that ball behind his ear. It's almost a catcher's arm slot. He's getting it right behind him, and you can't see it if you're the hitter.
Coy James, definitely a name I'm writing down. I just, there's very natural baseball talent with this kid.
3-1 the count as he dots the inside part of the plate. Coy has had some big times, certainly with a bat in his hand, but also in the middle of the diamond. Struck out 7 3 2/3 at the 14U WWBA as he loses record with a walk that time. You know who he is, too, Coy. He's a good athlete, he's a good baseball player, but he's a great student. There has never been anything resembling a B on his report card. This is a straight A for life thus far, student.
Oh, that's awesome. By the way, we need Jack Ruckert running here so we can watch Ethan Salas throw. Mandatory green light.
It seems like you guys have the influence. What has gone on is you've asked for it and you've gotten it.
And Nolan Traeger being, the catcher brotherhood, taking pitches to allow that to happen. So that's what we got going on.
I don't know. There's a big hole where he could pull that ground ball.
Beautiful throw on a hop. Hung with him with the tag, and he trickled on off the bag. So there wasn't an edge or a push there. He hung with him a long time. That looked like Jacob Kendall just hanging, and he came off the bag. By the way, Jack had the biggest jump I've ever seen.
Yeah, I think he thought he had that base so stolen that he didn't slide. And he'll learn. He's 13 years old. He'll learn that it's good to slide no matter what happens, no matter how big of a jump you thought you had.
Hey, and by the way, guys, Traeger had swung, so that's Salas making a throw after a swing. That's really next level.
And making a good throw, making it on a hop, having it be on the mark with that hop.
2.34 on the pop time, Ruins.
Well, I like it.
Rolled out to short. Throw is wide. Big turn, quick turn. Traeger on his way to second. He'll draw a throw that pops away. Otherwise, I think they have him. As he slides in that time.
Yeah, really nice job by Carter Smith to recover and put it on the bag.
I think the combination of a catcher running and a shortstop at first base might have come into play there.
Yeah, that's right. A lot going on there. Catchers always run themselves into outs. It's the one position where people always think they're faster than they really are. And I am painting with a very broad brush right there. You know what I think it is, David? Catchers have really good baseball instincts. So their instincts say they see openings in the game that their bodies just can't cash in on.
That's probably close to the truth there.
Caminetti takes high, little snap throw, back standing up.
That was gorgeous. How about that?
That's what you've wanted to see.
Oh, that's tremendous.
That's 220 on the back pick, 2.20.
Thank you. See, the thing is, David, that most
I thought he was
scouts,
out there. He was out there. No replays.
Most scouts don't get us a pop time on that because they just get caught watching the play. But not this scout
David.
side.
No.
Not the scout in our booth.
This isn't his first ball game.
No.
So Caminetti, the son of Tracy and Dominic, with his opportunity now. A good baseball man helps out, also a minor league manager, but a good baseball man helps out his travel team, the Scottsdale Dirtbags. Paul Chavez, one of the main leaders. But Tim Esme, who many of you may know from his time in Arizona State, minor league manager now, and helps out with travel baseball. Probably doesn't surprise you, does it, Runes?
No, Tim Esme is good of a person as you're going to meet in the game of baseball, and one of the all-time great Sun Devils. Played on great teams, coached on great teams. There's only been five head coaches in the history of the program, and he's one of them.
So Cam earns himself the walk. 13U National. Caminetti had an exit velocity up and over 80. Threw well from the outfield, right at 80, and from first base as well. Cam Caminetti, the pride of Scottsdale, Arizona. Colton Cordero now. Colton heading into his 8th grade year of school as James sinks it low and out of the zone. Out of Corinth, Texas.
Cordero really put a good swing on a fastball his first time up. That's the play that Carter Smith made such a nice play on. Pops this one up out in no man's land.
Oh, baby. That was a heck of a play by Ethan Murray. Wow.
Went a long way for that, made it look easy.
Sneaky good. I mean, sneaky good play. Ethan Murray, well done, young man. No surprise, a very talented player. He started the game on the mound, and certainly he has been impressive for several years. Had the courage as a 7th grader to play in an event in Jupiter, Florida last year where there were seniors playing. He was in 7th grade. Our pitcher of the year at the 13U age group, presented by Tom Flash Gordon, is Sam Kozart. Congratulations, Sam.
Sam, this is your second 13U Select Festival. What did the honor mean to you to get the start today?
It was a great honor, and it proves all the work that I've done.
You told me earlier today, I asked you, who do you look up to? Without a blink, you said, my dad, Craig. How has he inspired your game on and off the field?
He's shown me what it means to be a father and what it means to be a competitor on the field and off.
Awesome. Sam, thank you so much. Congratulations.
Thank you.
Darren.
Congratulations to Sam Kozart. Well, if you haven't been with us all week long for these 3 great events, it has been a blast. A blast for the athletes, a blast for the families. In a year in which we didn't know if we would have this event, we were able to. And we pulled it together, the 13, 14, and then Perfect Game All-American Classic. The Perfect Game All-American Classic truly turning out to be a preview of the 2021 MLB Amateur Draft. Looked good in those 100% shades. But the celebration was there, the safety was there, these athletes learning a ton about impacting the community, from leader and founder Jerry Ford, spending time around those that are at the major league level. Just been really wonderful. And then giving back and learning about the impact, those that were left behind, and the impact that was made at the Oklahoma City bombing, and with Barry Switzer, the coaching legend, who has been such a man of heart and selflessness in his home state. And these young men weren't alive, obviously, but impacted by the heart of Oklahoma City. And Mike Rooney, we have enjoyed this ballpark and these people so very much. This is a gorgeous yard, and the Oklahoma City Dodgers, the final part of that note, the OKC Dodgers have been great to us.
No question. I mean, a AAA team plays here, but the staff and the facility are big league all the way. It has been first class all the way.
Colton Cordero completes his warm-up tosses. Colton, we saw him hit just a moment ago. Gotta admit, it's kind of fun. I mean, I love emceeing a banquet, and it's one of my favorite things to do. But it's kind of cool to have these young men get the award in front of everyone on the stream.
Yep.
You know.
Yep.
It just was scripting. We take away the element of surprise. They're walked out. You know, they're walked out. So, you know, we have a team of people that bring them out. But, you know, you can't have the right fielder having to run in. That wouldn't make for a good show. That one's outside. 2-0 the count on Cordero, the man on the mound, as he deals with Adrian Jimenez. Mago is his nickname. Gabriel is dad, Ingrid is his mom, and Andres and Gabriela are his siblings. And when you talk to him about his favorite players, he kind of has the trio, right? These are all guys, I think, that are top of game in popularity. It's Jeter, it's Trout, and it's Baez. Those are his favorite players. That's an electric pitch. Swing and a miss. You can't go wrong with any of those three, and they're all three different guys.
Yeah, very different guys, all really good for the game, right, in their own individual ways. And I think that's the way our sport is. There's a lot of different ways to do it.
Off the end of the bat, Dominguez Walker drifts back. He's called off, though, by his good friend Travis Friend. Both Southern California guys playing baseball out there together.
But we've seen a lot of these young athletes who are primary infielders, primary outfielders, getting their chance on the mound. And I'm not so sure if of all of them, Colton Cordero hasn't impressed me the most just through this one batter. He is going to throw really hard one day. It's a beautiful athletic frame, and that's a loose, whippy arm. And he's throwing 82, 83 straight downhill. And there's just so much more, I think, there in the arm. It's a perfect release spot for just a power slider as well.
Atkins takes in there as a run at that power slider. Runes?
Yeah, to your point, David, he's clearly a secondary pitcher because he left the TV tape on while he took the mound. So that's your first clue. But to your point, I mean, all the raw materials there to really be big time on the mound if he chooses to go that route.
Atkins walked in his first at bat, slices that one back into the screen. Dylan, a Maryland native. Right at 6 feet tall, who impressed at 14U National and had a 400 on base percentage at the 14U World Series.
No, he's still developing feel for that. It's a curveball, and he's slowing his body. You know, it's probably not – I don't think he's thrown that pitch very much, and he just hasn't developed feel. But his delivery reminds me of James Peyton Smith from the All-American Classic. He's minus about 60 pounds on Smith, but the way he loads into that back hip and has that hip hesitation and then really torques his lower half and just lets that whippy arm follow.
It's funny. I used the word violent when watching James Peyton Smith, but I liked how you corrected me, and I see it here. How is it you corrected me? I'd love for our viewers to know. It's not violent.
It's not violent. It's creating a delivery like a tornado from the bottom up. That pause in the hips. It's almost like a swing when we describe swings as starting with your lower half. This is a delivery that really starts with his lower half. And yes, there is energy in it, but the energy is coming from the right place. It's coming from those hips. And just imagine if those hips weren't 155 pounds, if they were 205 pounds.
Buries a fastball in, gets a swing and a miss. I love the differentiation there, Runes, of a delivery that is by design creating energy, not violent. And this is the kind of swing it creates.
Yeah, and think about it, guys. Sometimes the prettiest deliveries are the ones hitters like because they see the ball so much easier. I don't think the hitters see the ball out of Cordero's hand well at all.
It's going to be interesting to track who he is as a player. When you have a scout with an eye like David seeing a pitcher so easily with your eye, how long it may take, or if he actually moves his way to where, he goes on to college or pro ball down the road. Here's a pitcher. Wouldn't be the first time.
And Darren, that really is the most fun part of it, at least for me as a veteran in this game, is every year you get a new class. You get a new group. You have new players improving. It's never dull. Sometimes I think people, like such as yourself, who was in the big league level for so long, seeing the same players year after year after year, 162 games, you're seeing the same thing. But at this level, and Coach Rooney can say the same thing about the college experience, cycling through players. You get to see new players every year and appreciate the future of the game.
They keep getting better. That's the other part. So many advancements in teaching the game. Kids are playing more baseball than they ever have, and they're better for it.
See if he tries to spin one in here. Nope. Well, with the fastball missed outside, Rivera draws the walk. Xavier, who had walked in his first at bat, he is on. Young man out of Puerto Rico, the young man who has really been a good student. Needs to be mentioned 18, 19, and 20 on the calendar each and every year. Honor roll student Xavier Rivera. Gives away to Coy James. Didn't want to, but he did, and it's a strike, so he fouls that one off the screen. We'll give away Perfect Games Player of the Year in the next commercial break. David, you know who it is?
I have an idea.
Okay.
I have an idea, Darren. I'm not going to spoil it for anyone out there.
Got him. It got James. No, I don't want you to spoil it. Kind of a tough decision. I just was handed the envelope literally a moment ago.
Well, that'll get your attention. David, I've got a 1980s comp again for you.
Okay.
For Colton Carrera. You ready?
Go for it.
You in an athletic position? You ready to receive this?
Everyone out there, roll tape.
That's right. Bobby Thigpen.
Bobby Thigpen.
Like just a really offensive outfielder that comes in and just throws gasoline.
Fires that one high. Body rushed off that time. Arm didn't catch up.
And Thigpen had, if I recall correctly, a very long throwing stroke. That kind of vintage outfield throwing stroke.
Hey, Bobby Thigpen, we have it.
That 1985 Mississippi State team, by the way, Jeff Brantley, Will Clark, Rafael Palmeiro, Bobby Thigpen, all on the same college team. Here we go. I could coach
Mike
that
Rooney.
team.
Good stuff, Mike Rooney. Bobby Thigpen is a good comp. Raise your hand out there if you know who that is. I do, but I'm no young
and if
person.
you don't, Google it immediately.
He did hold the Major League Baseball saves record, or does he still?
Yes,
in
50
a season?
something. 57 something in that number.
Back when saves were more fashionable than
Yes,
today.
thank you. Yeah. I'm thrilled you added that. Breaking ball never got there. Sails high, casting it to the backstop, but a run will score. And so Parker awaits his opportunity. A young man out of Snellville, Georgia, the South Carolina commit.
Last time Coach Spivey was out there, he was very effective, and I think he's going to give the same message to young Mr. Cordero. Is like, hey, stick with your fastball, throw strikes. It's got good life. Have confidence in it. Let's get going.
Junior's done a fine job as he talks after this pitch.
He tried to throw a nasty curveball. He had some wrapping back that he usually doesn't have. He just wrapped it behind him like, I'm going to get nasty with this, and he just lost the grip on it. Hit the bull, as we call it.
He did hit the ball. Yes, he did.
I think we'll see a steady diet of fastballs from here on out.
Getting a little dicey for Coach Spivey.
Well,
4-3. Yeah.
He's trying to break Flash Gordon's record of 3 trips to the mound in one game, I think. That record set on Friday. I reminded Flash of that at breakfast the other day.
Well, the reason you reminded him at breakfast is because the game ended and you went straight to breakfast. That's why. Thanks to Flash. You reminded him, though we love Tony La Russa, and we do. We think he's great. You don't have to be him. 3-1 the count. On the talented Eric Parker. As Parker takes up and away, that is ball 4. You guys are right, David, and Mike, too. It's ease with regard to the velocity. It's just a really raw guy. A really raw guy that's a pitcher at this point as a secondary assignment. Here's Jacob Kendall. From Jacksonville, Florida, Jacob, heading into his 8th grade year of school this year. He'll play middle infield. He'll pitch. Was a competitor at the 13U National Showcase, his first big event, earning the Impite, and was the MVP of the 13U BCS earlier this summer. Boy, did he do everything in that event. Pitched great, didn't give up a run, had an on base of about 655, got on base about 70% of the time.
And he defines that term hitterish. I mean, you could tell the left-handed hit tool is going to be something that will carry him for a long time.
That one bounces in there and still trying to find that strike zone. Let's see if he can work his way out of it or if he'll make a move. He's going to try and work his way through it.
Number 34, Michael Torres.
And here's Michael Torres. Well, Torres has done good things. Tripled, made a diving play in left. He's got to be getting some votes.
He's already picked up one award today.
Yeah, I know. I got to be thinking on the
yeah, that double was impressive.
on the pole out there. You're right. It was a double. Moved on with the throw, but a pitch away that he shot it the other way over the outside corner.
Dean Moss has got a big triple and a walk. It's going to be interesting. Danny Wexelman did an interview in Spanish, which is her second language.
Bouncing back. She's in the consideration, certainly. I would agree with that. Now, Moss is somebody who's got to be looked at.
Hey, we still have 2 innings to play.
Are pitchers being considered, Sut? You're usually the one sticking up for those guys.
Yes, absolutely. You'd better consider the pitchers.
Paul Dominguez Walker has my attention.
You like that?
Yeah, very much. Sam Kozart, clearly.
You have to consider it for sure. That's not ball 4, not yet. As a matter of fact, I can't remember the exact year. I believe it was 1977, since we're playing old guy baseball here, that my father was the MVP of a Major League Baseball All-Star game.
Love that.
As a pitcher. So, yes, you know I'm going to fight for pitchers to be considered.
That was back when pitchers would throw 2 or 3 innings at All-Star games.
They were really good 2. You know, it was a really good 2 at Yankee Stadium.
This is a fairly enormous pitch right here, gentlemen.
Yes. I would agree. In a 4-3 game, here it comes. It's hugging the line, still hugging, tracking, heading over with a diving attempt, and it gets by. Hustling everyone all around the bases, making his way as Torres into third with the slide. It's a triple. Look at that reaction. How about the beast from the east?
Cordero made a good pitch here, down in the zone inside. Torres just put a better swing on it. He's picked up a double and a triple and has hugged the left field line on both of them.
And the thing is, he fouled off the pitch before to get to that pitch. You know, just ran a really professional at bat. Didn't like the 3-1 strike call either and regrouped. Very impressive.
To the backstop it goes, and another run will score. 7-4 is the score, so now the West with some work to do. A couple of at-bats with which to do them and try and get the damage done.
A lot of ball game left, gentlemen, but isn't it amazing about our game that the Spivey dynasty just comes crumbling down in just one pitch like that? Michael Torres single-handedly took down a dynasty.
And usually when that occurs, you've got former major leaguers everywhere out there texting their resumes to Ben Ford.
Yes.
I mean, you've got, you know, the Steve Garveys and
yeah,
you know, different players all around the league that realize that, you know, Spivey may lose a game.
Yep.
And in the world of what have you done for me lately, we're just not so sure.
Yeah. Coach Spivey has done some great things, and we wish him the best of luck in his future endeavors. The king is dead. Long live the king.
Now batting number 13, Carter Smith.
Carter Smith now. And we talked so much about what Carter has accomplished this year. His coming out party, he had a pitch that was in that he fought off for a double. We noted that he chokes up. That allows him to use probably a larger bat, get a heavier bat by choking up on it. There used to be a slugger that hit the baseball in San Francisco that did the same thing. And he hits a line drive base hit into left center field. Carter Smith will hustle around, get his turn, and head towards second. In there, standing up. What a great approach. What a great at-bat for one of the game's best players at this age group.
Yeah, you saw his timing off on those first few at-bats where he's getting the ball in on the fist, ill-timed on a breaking ball. But he got a fastball right over the middle of the plate there and did what Carter Smith can do with it, drove it hard.
He throws his name in the hat for the MVP award, certainly with a couple of doubles. These athletes this week, and thanks to the Perfect Game Cares Foundation and the leadership of Jennifer Ford, have done a lot for those that are in need and for those in the community. And certainly PG Cares, this is earlier this year with a gathering and a group of former major leaguers in tough spots in Cedar Rapids, scholarships and encouraging words. Raising, by the way, this group, the Perfect Game Cares, at the 13U age group, the 13U age group raising $65,000. Jack Rucker, the top young man in fundraising, Dean Moss right there behind him, and Murray and Atkins and Pam right there. Visit perfectgamecares.org for more information. Again, perfectgamecares.org. A rising tide lifts all boats, and that's the goal of Jerry Ford. And not only giving back to those battling pediatric cancer, they've been a huge supporter of some of the things that I've been able to do with autism. I thank my company for doing that. And so visit perfectgamecares.org. And more players that aren't able to play the game or can't economically find the game, PG wants to make sure they do. And I think that's an important part of it too.
Yeah, it's. I mean, I think we all agree that there's so much about the baseball part of this experience, which is just awesome. But I love the theme of all these perfect game events where it's pay it forward. The game of baseball gives these kids a platform, a lot of blessings, and their ability to pay it forward. What an incredible lesson to learn so early in their lives.
Yeah, Darren, I think the numbers, you combine the 3 games together, and it's what, close to $400,000?
Yeah, it's a crazy number. You're exactly right.
It's a crazy number because when I think about the number of times we had the All-American Classic and we're raising money for Rades Children's Hospital in San Diego, and that number just crept up every year nicely, significant money. But it seems to have gone around a corner this year, and like you said, Jennifer Ford has been just outstanding in this effort and getting the players and the players' families involved, not only in the All-American Classic game, down here on the lower levels as well.
Learn a little bit more, visit perfectgamecares.org, and over the coming weeks we'll have content on our show on SiriusXM about that very subject. Let's bring the game to everyone. There's a strike over the outside corner. This is Scottsdale, Arizona's Cam Caminetti, the left-hander who can play several spots in the outfield, corner infield. Over there at first base. And Cam, a strong pitcher. It's a good opportunity for him. This is the 3rd or 4th time we've seen him. We love to let it be about the athletes themselves and not mom or dad or relatives, but it does bear mentioning that his cousin is the late Ken Caminetti, and a man with a zest for life and, boy, a passion for the game. How far away does it go? There is no play, and so a run scores as that one clicks on by, and a run scores. And another add-on, 8-4 the score, 6 runs in this inning.
I want to give a hat tip to our production staff led by Steve Banta. In his first at-bat as a Georgia Tech commit, Ethan Murray has that commitment, Georgia Tech, on his line.
That's large league right there. Saw it.
That is outstanding. That's Jeremy Deere, by the way, on graphics. Dare I say, Runes, he was not a deer in the headlights when the pressure was on with that graphic.
I see you working.
I'm trying. I mean, Danny just really, she kind of got in my head earlier today with the bilingual interview.
Yeah, that was outstanding.
Caminetti just missed. David, you watched it. Certainly I watched from afar, but you were an Astros organizational guy. You were around when Ken Caminiti was there. There was some kind of intensity and energy, and he was a darn good teammate.
Oh, yeah, he was, and I had a chance to tell Cam Caminiti this about his cousin. He was a perfect teammate. He played the game with such passion. He did everything in life with such passion. But those were the days where you had Craig Biggio and Jeff Bagwell and stuff, and they were more quiet individuals, as we had a hit by pitch there. But Cammy was the leader. He was the leader in the clubhouse. He was the leader on the field. And baseball lost a great one there.
It's so cool hearing that he was a great teammate because he was extremely intimidating in the batter's box. I can't imagine pitching to someone with that type of scowl on his face. Fierce competitor.
We have a little issue here with 2 runners on base, on the same base. Well, this is going to be a mess.
And it ends up costing a run.
Yeah, Caminiti went from the windup, I believe,
right,
with the bases loaded. Murray, just his instincts kick in. Hey, I'm on second base. He went from the windup. Forgot there was a man on third base.
Micah Matthews. Micah slices that one into right field. It's a base hit. Throw up the first base side just a little bit, but oh, Micah, that was pretty.
Outside fastball, did exactly what you're supposed to do with the outside fastball, line it to right field.
He has had a couple really good at-bats as well.
Mature at-bats.
How about the E squad of this inning? They just kicked the extra point. Here's Ethan Salas. That one bounced in there, skipped in there. Hey, by the way, we've got a special treat next half inning. Guest analyst Jace Andrews, Jace Andrews will join us. He has overcome a ton. You wouldn't know it now. He's at Oklahoma State. He'll be calling this and many other games in a couple of years with the path he's on as a broadcaster. But we wanted to celebrate a local former younger man passionate about the game, now getting older and chasing his dreams in the game as a voice of the game. If Mike doesn't mind sharing his seat for a minute.
Oh, done and done. Can't wait.
Up onto the hands, backs him out of there. Ethan Salas doubled. So you got Harris, he's been on twice. Matthews has been on twice. Salas has doubled. I think Torres maybe, to your guys' point, maybe has the inner path right now to the MVP. 2 extra base hits, not just 1.
And the biggest, the hit that broke it open.
And a diving play out there in the outfield. Well, this has been a fun one and an explosive inning, certainly. We have enjoyed talking baseball with all of you through 5. 2 more great innings, and our good friend and a future voice of the game in just a moment. Well, a celebration certainly of the sport. There's no doubt about it when you think about what this means to Perfect Game. The best players in the nation have gathered at the 13U age group, and representing Perfect Game is Ben Ford and World Series hero Luis Gonzalez. A big round of applause for Perfect Game's Player of the Year, Carter Smith.
Carter, you and I talked before the game a little bit about your offense, your defense. You called yourself a dirtbag in the field. There's so much criteria that goes into this award. Which part of your game, though, are you most proud of?
Defense.
Do you want to expand on that a little bit for me? That's okay. Listen, I know that defense is super important to you, but I know your parents are as well. Can you tell me how they've inspired you on and off the field?
They've taught me how to work hard and get my stuff done. That's about it, really.
Awesome, Carter. Well, congratulations.
Thank you.
Darren, back to you.
Well, congratulations to Carter Smith, the Perfect Game Player of the Year. And David, what you've seen with him all year long, and again, you're diving for the first time in a long time into this age group, what are you most impressed with?
Well, he's a young man who obviously has size. He obviously has the bat. We saw that last inning. And I think he has a chance to stay at shortstop. It's always hard to tell how big a young man's going to get. He's 6'1", 155 now. But he looks to have the athleticism to stay in the middle of the infield. And if you get a shortstop with that size, with that much offensive potential, who can stay at shortstop, you've got the best of both worlds.
Well, it's a wonderful story when we talk about our guest voice in Jace Andrews. At a very young age, Jace, you were dealing with congenital heart defects. Aiden Harris is on the mound. The odds stated about 50-50 for a good portion of your younger years. Multiple open heart surgeries that you have dealt with. 8 times you have had your heart catheterized and had to get through who you are. And a part of my wish with Dustin Pedroia and the Boston Red Sox, that's what you want to do someday, is be up in a booth. So congratulations on where you are in health. Certainly, that's the man above bringing you here. But this is what you want to do with your life, huh?
Yes, sir. I'm getting some more broadcasts, but I really enjoy just being in the booth, talking about sports. And when you're a young kid with heart problems and you don't get to play it, it's really hard to kind of get into it. And this was my way to be a part of the team, get to hang out with the athletes, and get to almost feel like I'm playing it.
As a freshman in college, you're now a couple of years past these athletes, right? But you were them yesterday. I mean, it was you yesterday. You now have found a way where you can relate and get the same vibe and energy as the guys get that play.
Exactly. It's such a great feeling when I can just almost live through them. I love the energy. I love the passion of pretty much every kid when it comes to baseball. And it brings joy to my heart whenever I get to just watch a game. I mean, today has been so much fun already, and this is just a cherry on top.
We're glad you're hanging out with us. Boston Kellner digs in, and he swings right through that one. David, we're gonna give you an opportunity to tell us about Aiden Harris. I'd love to know about Aiden as he takes his turn as a pitcher.
Well, we've gotten to know Aiden as a hitter and seen his power, his size. And we've got to see him as a player in that he's a hustler. We got to see him make that defensive hustle play to prevent a base. We got to see him, hustle and take second base on one of his hits. Now we get to see him on the mound, and this is a big young man who's been up to 86 with his fastball already this summer.
What has been your thought of the level of play? At some point, Jace, you're going to be a college baseball announcer pretty soon. What has been your thought of the level of play at 13 years old?
I have never been more impressed in my life. I gotta be honest. These kids are something else. I mean, the plays they're making, it's incredible. I mean, great defensively, great pitching-wise, and everybody has shown prowess with the bat. But I got to give some real credit to Torres. I know you're talking about him. A diving play, and I couldn't agree more about the baseball gods bringing him up and getting the double down the line.
Ranging to his left and firing across the diamond, making it look easy out there. Luis Almeida, the shortstop. So, David, you have a younger announcer and then a more veteran baseball man kind of doing that traditional baseball gods thing together there.
Well, I'm very glad to hear that you acknowledge the baseball gods. I think I probably learned about them at about your age when I was able to play. They were generally against me on the field, but they've smiled on me since then. But, yeah, I always like making fun of those things in baseball. You call them baseball cliches, but they're so much part of the game.
Yeah, I can't tell you how many times I've seen that where the player will get a diving catch, run in, and immediately be the first one up and get us double down the line and really start a rally for his team. And that's honestly what he's been doing, especially with that bases clearing triple. I mean, like y'all said, he's got a good shot for the MVP this game.
Pitch is just off the plate, and it misses wide to Paul Dominguez Walker. Well, look, I've done this my whole life. I started when I was your age, and there's nothing worse than being asked to step in and call some action without full defensive grids in front of you and knowing all the background. But if you're game for the next hitter, I mean, Aiden Harris is the pitcher. We've circled the name here, Aiden Harris, and then we'll give you the name of the next hitter. Looks like Slade Caldwell is on deck, so we'll give you a batter. And then you can fake it just like I do at a lot of these events. When it's hit to short, you can call it as to short, and just a fine play by the shortstop out there. I mean, you fake it. You're doing a lot of high school sports. There's no way you know every name every time. You game? You want a batter?
Yeah, I'm good. I'm good. Let's go.
We'll give it to you. We'll give it to you after this batter now. as he swings right through that one. Boy, that is nasty. Down and away. And so Aiden Harris will deal with Slade Caldwell. There's a little bit of bio on both. I'm not giving you much to work with, okay? Take it away.
All right, well, let's go. So Slade Caldwell, Valley View High School, Jonesboro, Arkansas, hometown. 2024 graduate. First pitch. Inside on him, almost got him there.
Caldwell's been fun to watch in this one, and an athlete that can play just about anywhere on the field. Left-handed pitcher when they need him to.
He's got a rocket for an arm. He's chucking it down the plate. 1-0 count. Here's the pitch. Skips away to the other side. Maybe a little bit of an overcorrection.
Have you talked to Coach Josh Holliday yet? Have you bothered him and let him know you'd like to be one of his voices?
Not yet.
We're
still kind of working up to that point, but I'm really excited. I think OSU baseball is a very bright place. 2-0 gets outside, and we're put the count to 3-0 here.
David, these baseball gods need to give him a diving play or something big.
Oh, definitely.
Can you talk to them?
I'm doing my best.
Okay.
Because I know Slade Caldwell is the type of player who wants to put it in play, but he's not going to be able to. But
well, a 4-pitch walk is just as good, right?
Yes. And Slade Caldwell, I'm pretty sure, went to steal one of the first pitches when he reached base in the first inning. So
here, use this pen. Circle Travis Friend. He's the next hitter. I had to wipe it off, by the way, folks. That's what I'm not going to let him have his only swing at things be a walk.
Well,
go
let's
ahead.
give it a
the
shot
game's
too.
yours. Go ahead.
All right, now we got a runner on first, 2 outs. Reset the count. Travis Friend up, and the pitch will be high.
A lot of hitters that become pitchers at this age group, David, are raw, and folks at home, they're just raw.
1-0 pitch. That catches the top left corner.
And you can see that with Harris just going from the windup to the stretch. He just lost 4 to 6 miles an hour going from the windup to the stretch because he just doesn't have the experience to have those mechanics he can repeat.
1-1's a bit high. It's 2-1. I thought the exact same thing. I saw the last pitch down a little bit, and I was like, wow. It had been pumping it in there, but couldn't get it up there. 2-1 count, runner at first. 2 outs in the top of the 6th. That's high, and the count goes 3-1.
The voice of Jace Andrews, a young man who, well, a couple of years ago, if you go back about a decade, he's fortunate to be up here calling this game. We're glad he is.
Me too, me too. 3-1 count, runner going, swing and a miss, strikeout. That'll end the inning as the throw is, oh no, excuse me.
That's all right.
That is the second strike. 3-1. 3-2 now.
Most people, it's very common. Most people, when they sit by me, are in a hurry to leave. So I could understand why you would want to take it to that next level. You may get it right now, though.
Hey, let's see if we can get a diving play. Full count pitch. There's the strikeout. I was just predicting the future there. I knew it was happening.
Mr. Andrews, God bless you. Thank you for spending time up here in the broadcast booth. I can't wait till you come and take my job.
Man, I hope so. One day, one day.
Thank you very much, Jace.
Thank you.
The Perfect Game Select Baseball Festival on a gorgeous but warm day in Oklahoma City.
This is the most important part of my game. It's like your girlfriend. Like, you take care of it. You have the Gold Glove, and then you have Platinum. Platinum is the top defender of the league that year. It stands out, so you know that's my baby. When I'm hitting, I'm by myself. When I'm making defensive plays, I'm helping my pitcher. You can't go and sloppy on defense.
Certainly glad to have you back with us, Darren Sutton. Mike Rooney steps back into his chair, but we were honored to share it with Chase Andrews. He's at Oklahoma State. We're not too far from there here in Oklahoma City at the Perfect Game 13U Baseball Select Festival. Runes, there's nothing harder than being thrown into a chair and saying, hey, you're going to call this thing, all you have is a roster. Pretty nice job, huh?
Really nice job. Yeah, that was awesome.
I can't wait to hear you guys together calling SEC games here in a couple of years.
Well, I am dying for an invitation to O'Brate Stadium, the new O'Brate Stadium in Oklahoma State. So looking forward to it very much.
That pitch is high. Josh, if you're watching out there, drop me a text. Let us know you're watching. Head coach of Oklahoma State, friend of the show certainly. Got recruited by his father a long, long time ago when I was very young and was too nervous to go play that level of baseball out of high school in Southern Cal. Caminetti sinks that one low. Caminetti. The East squad thinking about David, 3 outs away from a shocking victory.
Are we going to play the bottom of the ninth, the seventh inning?
I don't think we'll play the bottom half. No,
okay.
I don't think so.
I'm so used to working for Perfect Game where we play whole innings.
Showcase games.
Showcase games.
Well, those baseball gods you told me about, they're good with the unique kind of games and showcase games, right, on a backfield somewhere, but yeah. they don't like an extra unneeded inning on a nationally streamed game. David.
But there's a young man who's scheduled to pitch in the bottom of the 7th inning.
Squared up very nicely. Let's see if they make a move here and let him pitch. There's Spivey.
Yes, I think that's what we're going to have. Thus tying Flash Gordon's 2020 record of 3 trips to the mound in the same game. And Spivey gets the asterisk because he did it in 7 innings. It took Flash 10.
Cam, look forward to seeing your future as it continues to get brighter and brighter. Playing all over the field today, Caminetti. He'll head home back to Arizona. And I didn't share it with you while he was playing, but I could walk to his house and borrow sugar if I needed to.
Oh, that's awesome.
And I didn't really know anything about him until I started finding things out this summer. So good for him. Good family. Mr. Ruckert goes to work. Big Jack. Now, we told you earlier about Jack's experiences as a Team USA player at the 12U age group, and that's stuff that you can never take away, like an event like this. But he was 4 for 4 in a game in Taiwan, so let alone to play in Taiwan, period, is enough of a thrill, right? But to go 4 for 4 against Italy, to homer against Australia, he's got a strong resume on the USA side and certainly on the PG side as well.
I've always had great respect through the years and going back a long time to the young men who go and travel to Taiwan, to travel to Japan, to Korea, to different places in Central America with the USA baseball teams, because it's really a big sacrifice. You're missing school, you're really making that the focal point of your summer. But some of the life experiences I've heard about talking to players over the years of what's gone on, it really is a tremendous experience, and it's what keeps those players playing in the USA program.
You know what, I think the other aspect of that too, David, is not only the travel and seeing the different cultures, but from a competition level, you know, you put that USA on your chest, you are everybody's biggest game.
And I believe Masa Chilcutt, who we've watched play today, was a catcher on that team that went to Taiwan. Mm-hmm. We haven't mentioned that yet.
Good fastball, reaches back and sneaks it right on by Adams, 78 miles an hour. Atkins, I should say. My apologies, Dylan. Wags that bat behind his helmet. And on 1-2, it's a breaking ball that never gets there. 2-2 the count. Danny Wexelman, Mike Rooney, Darren Sutton, David Ronsley, and you. We're glad you're with us. He gave him his best fastball, didn't he? And it tied him up enough, and he fields his position nicely.
Yeah, Atkins has very much an inside-out approach at this age. He's looking to go middle away, and Rucker just got inside on him there. I was hoping for a ground ball to Perdomo at shortstop, actually, Mike.
Yeah, we can't get enough of those. The Jack Rucker, this is totally different body types, but he reminds me of Dominguez Walker on the mound with just that incredible feel for pitching. Not a lot of effort to it and just all over the strike zone.
As a younger player, Rucker with the traction canes, playing with USA Prime as well. Xavier Rivera in and out of the catcher's mitt it goes.
David, I wanted to throw something at you on Jose Perdomo. He just how advanced he is and how much he stands out. It very much reminds me of the Upton brothers 20 years ago when they were, they were the kids that were in all these PG Nationals 2 grades below everybody else. And, of course, both of them had very substantial big league careers, but they were so good so fast. That's what Perdomo reminds me of.
Yeah, there's a lot of that, especially with Justin. Justin had that compact body. And I remember the first time I met Justin Upton was actually when he was 13 years old. I hadn't seen him play. And I shook his hands, and he had the biggest, strongest hands of any 13-year-old I've ever seen.
Off the end of the bat on a breaking ball. It's a fly ball into center field. That one is put away, and that one will do it. Words from brand new partners with K-Motion, words that are quite insightful at the Perfect Game 13U Select Festival. 9-4 the score. Technology is everything for a developing athlete, not just for the scouts, but for the athletes themselves as they grow and chase their dreams. A partnership that Perfect Game has put together with K-Motion explains that very vividly. Science, metrics, and all that goes into developing as a baseball player have gone to new heights that we've never seen before. Here's more from our good friends with K-Motion.
I think the first thing we need to realize about all this new technology is it is such a great resource for scouts, but for Perfect Game in particular, it goes back to Jerry Ford's motto of growing the game. With the K-Vest, it's so interesting because it's not creating one swing, it's creating your swing, sequencing your body. From a scout's point of view, we do so much by our eyes. It's easy to sit there and say, he's handsy, he doesn't use his lower half. Well, now we have devices with all sorts of different types of sciences that are now telling us, yes, your eyes are right. Being able to use them in a BP setting and then transfer them to a live game setting is really just a strap away. We wanted to make it easy for a high school player to really understand what the K-Vest is doing. Speed, sequencing, and stretch. Stretch is the most misunderstood thing in baseball. 5 years ago, if you saw some of the drills that people were trying to use for stretch, it was completely messing up swings. Now we understand what it's doing, how we hold stretch, and stretch between different people, body types. How do they hold it, and then how do they use it is what we're measuring. And what we've learned is everybody's body's so different that if you do the same thing for all of them, you're really going to mess people up. And then speed is obviously what all of scouting used to love. Wow, that's a fast bat. You can see it with your eyes a lot of times, but what we're doing is calculating it within their swing. And the cool part about this is that speed translating to games? And what speed do they fire at that they're the most consistent in the game? Because that's important too. It's not just how hard you do it, it's where you're most consistent at. And then sequencing is something that we always try to do. There's little verbals that a third base coach would always say, but what we want to do is go pelvis, torso, lead arm, hand. And we want to make it so that it's just a constant motion that the body goes from the ground up and goes straight up to where our hands would actually fire through the body and being on time with it. So I think that's where those 3 S's are so interesting. I mean, they're just breaking it down so simply for each hitter, whether that's a 10-year-old or whether that's somebody here at the All-American game that's going to be, a potential draft pick. It's breaking down their individual swing with such easy thought of stretch, sequence, and speed.
An opportunity to see Carter Smith work, good friends, in a unique new relationship with K-Motion. Good insights. Certainly Jared Goodwin giving a good perspective there. Carter Smith, a couple of lucky 13s dueling here. Carter Smith, the National Player of the Year, a man who probably got a lot of consideration to be in that same sort of category, fouls that one off. These are two of the best players globally at this age group. I don't think I'm stretching it when I say that.
I don't think you're stretching it at all, Darren. I mean, they're the best ones here. There are probably some players we don't know about, whether they be in Japan or Cuba or Korea or everywhere else this great game is played. But certainly they're two of the best playing in the United States right now.
Rolled third base line. That's a fair ball. Perdomo is on the move, hustling on around. He eyes second. He is in there standing up. What a great matchup. Smith, Perdomo, 2 bags the result.
Yeah, what I loved about that, Darren, is Perdomo's taking some big hacks. He faced Cozart in the first inning, throwing 85, 86, and took some big hacks. He had a big hack at an 84 fastball on the first pitch from Smith, and then he got the big breaking ball, and he was able to stay back and make hard barrel contact with it.
Very Javier Baez of him right there. I mean, it doesn't maybe play with quite the same flair, but that type of swinger.
I will tell you that Baez did not play with that kind of flair when he was a junior and senior in high school, Mike. He did not. And we saw him a lot. He was a perfect game All-American, and I do not remember that flair at all. I think that's something as he saw his place in the game that he grew. That was probably part of his personality, but it really came out after he got into pro ball.
All right, the first at-bat that we see for Kibru Pam, who was so much fun to watch on the mound, such a great athlete. As that one dives down and away. We told you earlier, Pam out of Pasadena, California. Was all tournament at the 14U World Series. 14U National flashed big metrics. He's got to back out of there. 9-4 the score. Played at a bunch of 15U events as well, did Kibru. Great outfielder, great third baseman, great pitcher. Drifting, foul territory, over, under, out. And that one is put away. Dylan Adkins, a couple of steps on the other side of the coach's box.
This is quite an inning for you, Coach Rooney. You get Perdomo first, you get Pam second, and now you get Dean Moss third.
Yeah, whatever you did to order that up, Coach Ronsley, well played.
It's that baseball gods thing again.
Yeah, really appreciate it.
He's got a hotline. Swing and a miss. 0-1 the count. 84 with sink. Carter's just kind of comfortably good at everything. And there's that whippy arm, which generates a mid-80s fastball, which has movement that we're all envious of. And rolled out to the right side. And then he threw a changeup to get that ground ball out against a very talented hitter in Moss. A changeup.
A changeup. That just dumbfounds me. He goes out and throws a changeup to one of the top hitters in the class, and it's a quality changeup.
I think the broader point, though, is Carter Smith could be good at any sport he wanted to, and he's really involved in baseball. That is super important and super great for the sport.
Yeah, this is somebody you could say, oh, he's going to be the 2 guard on a basketball team. He's going to be the quarterback on your football team. And it's so nice to see him playing baseball.
Long run, left side, first row. We'll do it again. 1 out away from a victory. And another opportunity.
Do you guys think the Fords will have the press conference with Coach Spivey right after the game? So do you think they sleep on it? Do they? I mean, it is the first loss of his career. I mean, it's
some things don't need to be highlighted, though. They speak for themselves.
It's tough. It's a high bar around here.
Swing and a miss. Good changeup. Tomorrow's an off day. It'd be a perfect time to do it.
I feel like Gonzo is kind of the GM around here, so maybe he does that. Maybe that's in his purview. And they're former teammates, right?
Yes.
Yeah, so I think that's what's going to be appropriate.
One strike away from a victory. As that one skips in there. Mr. Smith looking to lock it down. We've had fun with all of you guys today, though. We're glad you found us on perfectgame.tv. Keep finding us. Brand new programming, weekly. More and more events. The fall is going to be very busy at all age groups. A lot of prospect baseball. Swing and a miss, right by it. That'll do it. A come from behind win for the East. 13U Select Festival in the books, the second edition, with a come from behind. Take it away.
Presenting the MVP trophy today with Michael Torres is Ben Ford. Congratulations, Michael. All right, my friend, can you catch your breath? Are you all right?
I'm good, I'm good.
So you had a beautiful diving play, a double, a go-ahead bases clearing triple in this game. How did you prepare for today?
Honestly, I just try to get the ball in play and just score every kid that's on the base.
I know this summer everyone had to get creative in quarantine, get creative in staying ready. How did you prepare and stay ready for this?
A lot of tee work everywhere, every spot's on the outside, inside, low pitches, everywhere.
So you bring the trophy back to East. How fun was this weekend with these guys, the best of the best at the 13U PG Select Fest?
Oh, it was amazing. Just the environment of all the kids, the top 32 kids here, it was just incredible.
Michael, congratulations.
Thank you.
Darren, back to you.
Danny Wexelman, great work all week long. We're fortunate to have you on the broadcast team, and being around these young athletes certainly was a pleasure. David, the floor is yours first, not only on the 13U age group, but the entire week.
Well, I think for the 13U age group, this game just really perpetuated what I saw earlier in the summer with the amount of ability that these young men have. And not only their physical ability, their bodies, but the skill with which they play the game is really something I'm going to continue to look forward to covering in future years. Taking a look at the big picture, hey, Oklahoma City. Oklahoma City's been a star here. The Brickyard Ballpark has been a star, and it's been great doing these 3 games all in sequence. I don't know whether that's going to be the plan for the future, but having all this baseball talent over a week here has just been wonderful, especially at the end of a difficult year where you always weren't able to see the talent. Bringing it all together here in Oklahoma City was a fitting end of the summer and a great series of events.
Mike, your thoughts?
Yeah, I think David nailed it, Darren. I mean, Oklahoma City was a rock star. This is a beautiful facility. I'm so enheartened for the game, right? These kids, I can't wait to follow them as they progress in the game. And all these different shapes and sizes and styles of play, different backgrounds, different countries. As someone that loves our sport, couldn't leave here more encouraged for the future of the game.
Well, exciting, and nice job, both of you. It was an honor to call baseball. Mike, of course, the radio voice of the All-American Classic. David at the 13 and the All-American Classic level. But this 13U age group was fun, and leave no doubt about it that when they worked at a very fun and furious pace. For Mr. Mosley on the mound and doing his spot to get things going, to the big bats that were extended and used all over the diamond of these players. The 13U age group is alive and well. First journey at a high-level event on a field that's dramatically bigger from where they have been. The athleticism of these athletes, a pleasure. And the way they handled themselves on and off the field, a joy to see. Carter Smith. He closed it out on the mound, Perfect Game's National Player of the Year. A sneaky great play that we loved from Ethan Murray. And then a big inning when 7 crossed the plate. The East wins it, capping off a spectacular week. A week that, as Mike Rooney And my partner David Ronsley said simply, Oklahoma City, you did it. You brought us here. You hosted 3 full games, family, friends, loved ones, the best baseball players in North America at this age group, and the All-Americans kicked it off. You're looking ahead to the 21 draft. You saw it on Friday night. Tonight, by the way, on MLB Network Radio, you can hear it for the first time immediately after Sunday Night Baseball. It was a great celebration of athleticism, of giving back, of community. Leader Jerry Ford, this was his vision many years ago, certainly. And not only the vision of Jerry, but the vision of Oklahomans to understand who they are and their history, to understand the heartbreak they have felt, how their legends share stories, and the difference that they're glad that you made in their community, and they want you to come back. All 3 of you rosters full of teams and players. We want you to come back, and we can't see you again soon enough. On behalf of our entire production team and our lead producer, Steve Banta, I'm Darren. Goodbye, everyone.